Well, good evening. This is our Monday night hangout. Let me check one thing here, make sure that chat replay is working, my videos. Let's look at that other thing because I did not turn that on live. Live, Zoom meeting, edit, customization. Yes, chat replay is clicked. So I've got that solved finally. All righty. And we'll pull that up so we can see the chat on YouTube, the studio. There's Steve Smith.
Hello.
So your first meeting is going to be next Friday.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're still going to start it
Same time.
from your phone or
We're going to
whatever?
try. We're going to try.
Good. So what's going on?
Nothing. I'm still getting ready for Brodak.
Oh my, really?
Yeah. When you're taking as much shit as I'm taking, you gotta, and there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
Got my generator running yesterday.
All right. What was it?
Well, the last time we had it when we left Oklahoma,
Yeah.
we just shut it off and put it in the nose box, the tongue box. That's not
Yeah.
shut that off. You got to turn the gas off and let it run out of gas
Ah,
to get all the fuel out of the carburetor because it's a diaphragm carburetor. So I took it apart, man, and that carburetor is as small as a model airplane carburetor, and the spark plug's just as small.
huh.
It's
Yeah.
itty bitty.
Interesting. Hello, Howard.
Hi.
Not flying today?
I will in a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing chores for my wife at the time.
Ah, okay.
Well, it doesn't look like it, but I'm filling a vessel with water and monitoring it.
Oh, okay. That's hard work.
Yeah,
Yeah, tough job there.
yeah.
So that's what I did yesterday. I took that all apart and
Yeah.
went and got a spark plug and got it going.
So was the diaphragm messed up?
No, the fuel that we get today is not like the old gas. It really, it, I guess it sours, so to speak. It goes bad quickly.
Ah,
And if it's in the tank for a year, in the carburetor for a year, it's the carburetor's clogged.
I see.
On motorcycles, when I used to work on bikes, I tell people if you're going to let it sit any longer than 3 months, make sure you put stabilizer in the fuel tank and drain the carburetor.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it'll be a carb job.
Which I'm sure is not fun.
And that carburetor is about an inch and a quarter wide by inch and 3/8 tall and maybe an inch thick. It is tiny.
Oh, wow.
So tiny that the float needle had to be put in with tweezers.
Ooh. Uh, my dog is barking at the back door. I got to let it in.
Oh
Let them
boy.
in. I got three of them here now. Be right back.
All right. Well, Howard, I got my prototype wing half done and my prototype stabilizer done.
For what?
This Perky I'm building.
Oh,
I called Jim Pagani today because the weight is a little much, I thought. And I asked him how much it should weigh. And he said, I don't know. I make it out of basswood, 1/8 inch basswood. I said, well, I got a stabilizer, an elevator here that's 1 ounce. hinged and ready to go. But it's like, it is bulletproof. It's 6 layers of carbon, 1 layer of Kevlar sandwiched in between.
Holy cow.
And it's a 16th inch thick instead of an 1/8. So that ought to make it go good. And then the wing halves. This is finally got a decent wing half out of the mold. And I'm stopping by Danny's Thursday, and he's going to make another mold for me, a professional type mold, so I can get it to work.
So the wing's hollow?
Pardon me?
The wing is hollow, huh?
Yeah, wing's hollow.
Hey, with that, the same technology, you could make hollow props.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. But I think you'd probably want to make those with a pre-preg and a metal mold in a autoclave.
Yeah, probably.
With, I don't have an autoclave, so I'm doing it the backyard mechanic style.
Yeah, I've done it that way. I used my wife's kitchen oven. Eventually, she made me take it to the shop and get a new oven. I
Well,
put tension on it so I could do 27-inch parts. I did that while I was still in the kitchen.
all I've got is a hot box, a heat lamp on a rheostat,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's all insulated. It's a box there.
So that's not 250 or 350.
No, it'll probably go to 180.
Yeah, it's easy bake oven.
Yeah. 500-watt heat lamp
Yeah.
inside a metal insulated box. It gets hotter than shit in there, but it's not 250.
Yeah. I've got the oven in my shop now. It doesn't hold temperature very well. I got to make an automatic controller for it if I do many more composite things. But
Well,
yeah,
Steve Hines is the guy who made the oven for Billy. He's a heating air conditioning guy,
yeah.
and I hear that oven works great. We haven't seen him on here since Charles. I guess they got into some kind of spat.
Oh,
I don't know. Looks like you're going to be driving in some rain, Bob.
Yeah. Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
Actually, they're calling for rain Wednesday. Let's see what time.
this is the Brodack contest coming up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is a lot of fun, Howard.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I had tickets to go to it once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I somehow got bumped from a flight and got some free tickets, and so I got tickets to go to Pittsburgh and never went.
Oh.
Well, you missed it. That's a good contest.
Yeah, well,
There's Gary. Hi, Gary.
Hi.
Casminato's been there. Of course, Joe Daly, Bob Hunt, all the West Coast guys are over there.
all the West Coast guys,
I mean, East Coast guys.
East Coast guys. Yeah.
that's where they went.
Yeah. Well, I've been to the Northwest Regionals, but I lived there in Eugene at that time
Oh,
when it was at the airport at that parking lot there.
yeah. Yeah, they decided to use the parking lot for parking.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
That was a
Yeah,
long time ago.
We
Yeah.
might be hooking up the trailer in the rain on Wednesday, Bob.
We'll just do it between drops.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna rain hard all day.
No, it says couple of showers, thunderstorms, heaviest early. So who knows? You can never.
All we gotta do is push it out in the alley, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's easy to hook up.
Does it ever rain where you are, Howard?
All the time,
Sometimes, like most of the time.
every day.
It's not raining today.
Just wait 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
You live in Washington or Oregon?
Washington.
Definitely up by Seattle.
Yeah.
Definitely rains every day. Seems like it.
Yeah. If you can see Mount Rainier, that means it's going to rain.
Why is that?
Well, it's just a local lore.
Oh, okay.
When did Mount Saint? What year did Mount Saint Helens blow up? I was there then.
1980.
Yeah, that's when I was there. That's been a while.
If you can't see
Yeah.
here, that's because it's raining.
Can't see it because it shrank.
Because it's raining.
Oh, because it's raining.
Yeah.
Seattle, Washington has to be the rainiest state I've ever been in.
That's pretty rainy.
Well, Portland, Oregon's pretty rainy too.
Pretty rainy. Yeah.
Have you been up on the Space Needle?
Yes, I have.
Isn't that neat how it goes around once an hour?
That's neat. Yeah.
There's a restaurant up on top, Steve. You go up there and sit, and if you sit at the window, it'll go all the way around the diameter of this thing in an hour.
Huh. Didn't there used to be one like that downtown here in St. Louis?
I don't know.
There's a round building down in downtown. It's been several things, a Millennium and this and that. But I think it used to, back in the day, have a rotating restaurant at the top. It was either there or there was one called Top of the Tower um, at Chambers Road and what is it, up there in, well, it's not Jennings, but yeah, it's not a good area anymore. And
I ain't going to Jennings.
They converted it to apartments and yeah, it's a mess now.
Where's Jim? I don't remember.
The Hood,
Yeah.
North St. Louis.
Oh.
When I rode my motorcycle in East St. Louis. The cops told me, don't stop at the lights. Don't stop at stop signs
Oh.
at night. Not good. That place is bad. You'll get gunned down or robbed easy there. It's terrible. No, I dropped something.
It was more civilized when I lived there, I guess. That was 1968 to 70.
Mm.
Well, that's when the Italians were on the hill and there was less BS.
I don't remember Italians being on hills.
No, it's
it's
called
a
the hill.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood called the Hill. It's up.
Oh.
Mafioso was up there and they cleaned the place up pretty good.
Oh. Where's that?
St. Louis.
Oh. Don't remember any hills.
Something about, no, it's not on a hill. They just call it the hill.
Call it the hill. Yeah.
Southwest Avenue kind of goes up a hill.
Speaking of hills, there's a rest area on I-90 called Indian John Hill Rest Area. And
Let me guess, it's flat as hell.
No, it's a hill. So I sent a picture of the sign to John Hill.
Oh, that's good.
Stouffer's on St. Louis riverfront. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it was Stouffer's on the riverfront. That's right.
Been to the riverfront. Been up in the Wicket.
The Arch.
You know, there are people native to St. Louis that have never been up in the Arch.
Oh yeah, that's the way it is everywhere. Yeah, natives here haven't been to Mount Rainier and haven't been to the Space Needle.
Yeah.
Well, the Space Needle's neat because if you're downtown, you get on the tram and you ride to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it goes to the Rock and Roll Museum. There's a Rock and Roll Museum.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a Rock and Roll Museum.
And
Paul
I,
Allen decided
when
to
I
make-
was there, it was a free ride too. I don't know, probably they charge you now.
I don't know. I've never ridden it. I'm kind of local. Monorail.
Yeah, the monorail.
Yeah.
You're hanging underneath it. It's a gondola
hmm.
type thing. It's neat. What year was it World's Fair there? 69 or 68?
62.
62.
Yeah.
They built that just for the World's Fair.
Yeah. That's before I got there. There was a lot of model aviation in Seattle back in those days. That's pretty cool.
Now, I will say this about, I can't remember that it was Portland or Seattle, but they have drinking fountains running all the time on the street, and that's the best water I've ever drank. Is it Portland or Seattle?
Must be Portland. Seattle, we don't do things for people on the street.
Yeah.
Like,
Downtown in the shopping areas, they had water fountains, and the thing about them was they continually ran. You didn't have to turn it on; it just ran.
Kansas
Huh.
City like that.
Kansas?
Kansas City.
Hmm.
They got fountains here and there. Yeah, in Seattle, I think there's a sign, welcome to Seattle, no public restrooms.
Yeah.
You been to the fish market down there?
Yeah, I've been there.
You seen them throwing the fish back and forth?
So, so I'm throwing a fish back and forth. There's a fruit stand there that had a sign that said boneless bananas. And my wife she's humor impaired.
Okay.
And so she said, what do you mean by boneless bananas? And the guy said, well, these bananas don't have any bones. And that conversation went on like that for about 10 minutes. It was hilarious.
If you order a fish in that market, you're walking, I can't remember the name of the street, but you make a left and you walk to the end of the street. There was a red sign, farmer's market or whatever. There's a fish market right there. Them guys would throw the fish at each other. They were calling for whatever kind of fish, I don't know, albacore or whatever, and they throw them at you. And they're talking about little fish. I'm talking about big fish.
Yeah.
They'd catch them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's famous for.
It's pretty cool.
That's where Starbucks comes from. Not from
yeah.
but from that neighborhood.
I ain't missing nothing. I don't go to Starbucks. I'm not a coffee guy.
Well, we got nobody working on them.
Huh?
I said we got nobody working on anything. You're
No.
packing.
I'm let me check out the water.
He's working on filling a bucket.
Yeah, I think it's more than a bucket.
Well, looks like it's about 60% full.
Yeah, just wait till it runs over and then drain some out.
Yeah, I could, I guess. As soon as it fills up, I'll go out and maybe fly some stunt. Try to figure out what sticks PETG plastic to carbon.
Nothing.
That could well be.
Nothing. I'll
Hot,
bet.
hot stuff doesn't. Cyanoacrylate.
No.
And
Epoxy won't, nothing will stick it.
I'm trying Gorilla Glue now.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
I got this piece of plastic. It's what 3D printing.
Oh, 3D printed. Oh, okay, that's the material.
That's the good stuff for 3D printing. And so I've got this bracket that holds my wire connector going to the motor, and I want to glue it to the side of the airplane inside.
And it's carbon there.
It's carbon
fiber.
So I'm trying Gorilla Glue. And if that does work, I got some magic stuff. It's Loctite plastic glue. And you can glue like polyethylene to polypropylene with it. I glued some stuff to my plastic toolbox, and it works great. But you get this little tube for $7, and once you use it, it dries up pretty quickly.
I don't even think JB Well will glue that on there.
I don't know. I probably won't try.
Well, okay. You can glue that PETG to balsa though, right? Or to plywood.
No, nothing will stick to it.
Well, how do they attach these 3D printed motor mounts?
With bolts. Yes.
With bolts.
PTEG is like this shit right here. Mylar, nothing will stick to it.
Oh yeah, nothing sticks to that.
Can't glue to it. Because I got PTEG bottles there. Nothing sticks to it.
I bet this Loctite plastic stuff will.
Okay.
We want to hear a report on that.
I'll report to you.
Write it up.
If I give up and have to use it, then I'll report to you. But I have to find some other stuff to glue while I'm at it.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to waste the $7 tube.
Right.
Hi guys, can you read that, Steve? What he just?
Yeah, it says, "Hey guys, question. I have just picked up a secondhand PA 75. What's the recommended prop and approximate RPM?" Depends on the plane, doesn't it?
Call David Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that's what he's running, isn't it?
Yeah. He'll give you the lowdown.
He's running a 12-inch prop. I like 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the 13.45 RPM. I don't know. I guess it's probably around 9,800, 95 to 9,800.
Dave may have some surplus PA 75s one of these days. He's going electric, or at least he's nibbling at an electric.
Yeah.
Oh my, really?
Yeah.
I wish you guys luck. Remember when the big thing was 4 strokes?
Yeah.
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 I think I came in on the tail end of that.
I was a 4-stroke owner, but the fad had already passed by.
There was
By the time I got my airplane getting built for it, so
there was one.
Remember Roy Lane? Thank you, Roy. Or he just renewed 16 months.
Oh, nice. There was one year at the Nats, the Brazilians came and they all had 4 strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Howard, were you there the year that all the Brazilians' airplanes flew apart? They weren't take apart, they were come apart.
No, I was probably there, but I didn't notice that.
A motor almost hit me
Oh
within
man.
5 foot. Yeah, the motor flew out of it. And then a wing and a fuselage separated on the back side of Circle 2. And the wing went like that, fluttered to the ground. Bunch of accidents with them.
Huh.
I said to the one guy, I said, you guys in Brazil use glue?
They might have had to hurry up and get them built to get on the plane.
Yeah, Thomas Case was probably getting them going.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not hot glue like some of those ARFs.
Went and flew combat planes yesterday with Mark Rudner. He's getting ready for the Nats and team trials. And combat F2D has progressed quite a bit in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
And all new stuff. Pretty
15s cool. or big block?
15s.
Yeah, they scream.
32,000 RPM.
Yeah.
32,000
lines.
52-foot lines. Yeah, 32,000 RPM, and they're all strangled. They've got little bitty exhausts and little bitty intakes as part of the rules, and 5% nitro. And still they go 100 miles an hour. The guys built those engines live in Kharkiv, and they're probably supplying drones now.
So did you lose it? Can you still do it and do it well?
Fly combat?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I was just watching Mark.
Oh, you weren't flying, huh?
No. I was amazed. Some of that stuff. No, I couldn't follow him through that stuff. He'd sucker me right in the ground.
Well, I know what you mean, because I built a bunch of Voodoos and I put a G2135 on it, and I couldn't get it going. And Mike Lonke helped me get it started at Brodak. I got one flight on it before I dorked it in the ground. I was going around. The flight was over. I was unwinding my line, so I was going this way, and I was counting the loops, and I go, well, I got to do something the other way. And the minute I changed my mind, it went right in the ground.
Yeah, you gotta think a few maneuvers ahead.
Yeah. So I'm not cut out for combat anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm too old. Last time I did it, I just got in line tangles. Guys were so.
Well, the bad part about it is going to that thong. You can't switch hands when they get wound up.
Yes, I know. I've tried.
I don't know how they do it.
Without switching hands?
Yeah.
You can do it. You run in front of the guy, and you practice doing it with kites.
There's Bob Hunt.
Oh, I had a question for Bob Hunt.
What is it, Howard Rush?
My question is, you said that the twins work best if the motors are close to the wing.
Yeah, I can't tell you chapter and verse why. They just seem to.
You got this from observation rather than.
Yeah.
Yeah, good, because guys were theorizing about it last week, and I don't subscribe to their theories.
Well,
but if you actually saw it happen, that's real.
I've had them long, fairly long, 6 inches in front of the leading edge, and then we shortened them up a little bit, and it got better. And we shortened up a little more, and they got better. and we shortened them up a little more, and they got better yet.
Maybe, maybe I'll put them on the back.
Yeah, then you don't get an air blast over the wing.
Yeah.
But I think if you actually mounted the motor into the wing a little bit, and as long as you had clearance of the taper of the wing where the prop wouldn't hit, I'm not so sure though if you got that close if you wouldn't get some kind of beating against the wing with the prop, some kind of air thing. It probably what we have on the little test bed twin is optimal. You've seen that, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember.
I'll show a picture of it. I'll get a picture of it.
So is this the back of the motor is at the leading edge about?
Pretty close to the leading edge. Yeah, real close.
Okay. I can do that.
Let's see if I can find a picture of it here.
Are you doing a twin, Howard?
I'm thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for a long time.
Oh, thinking about it. Okay.
Well, since I got Gordon's airplane, which is so completely wonderful. The twin Pathfinder.
Ah,
Yeah, I'll tell you, that little Pathfinder really flies good. That's what got me back working on the twins again. I kind of put them on the back burner there for a while, and then I flew Gordon's twin out at VSC one year, and I was really impressed with it.
Oh wow, you flew it. It flies even better at sea level.
Sharing's not turned on, Bob.
say hi to Phil while we're waiting for that. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hey, how's it? How are y'all? Everybody doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even talk today. I got my tongue so tied around my eye teeth. I can't see what I'm trying to say. Wow.
Well, I
That's
just was
cute.
thinking about you today.
Oh, that's how close they are, Howard.
Oh man.
That's pretty darn close. It's maybe a quarter inch.
Yeah, that's about what it is. Just so there's enough wood between so the nacelle is in one piece instead of being split,
Groovy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty
So-
nice.
The battery go kind of forward to balance it.
Yeah, we got to move the battery pretty far forward. It's running on those are two 2310s, badasses running on one 5S 2200.
Oh.
It really works well.
Let's see now. What's the new low KV badass you're talking about? I got
Yeah, I'm trying to get back on. I kind of lost where I am here.
lost.
Right.
You're on Stunt Hangar and you're.
I know, but I'm lost. All right, hold on a second. I got to redo this. I'll be back. Oh, there I am. I'm back. All right, let me see if I can show another photo that shows the nacelles up close. Yeah, there you go.
It is close.
Quite a bit of out thrust in that.
That show?
Yeah, but you got quite a bit of out thrust in that, right?
or in thrust if it's.
No, it's a little bit out there. It's not a whole lot. But
Looks like 4 degrees.
This thing's 0-0, but that one does have some out thrust in it.
yeah, a little bit.
Both
Very
of them have out thrust.
A little bit, but we find that running the inboard motor incrementally faster than the outboard motor seems to do more.
Ah, far out.
That is nice.
Looks
So
like
it's really good.
pointed the other direction though. Looks like in thrust.
I'm actually building another one. Robbie kind of commandeered this one, and I liked it so much I wanted to fly it. But I can't fly the one he flies. He flies so balanced point aft. I can't fly like that. There's the battery holder.
Yeah, I have just started using that system, but I started using it not so much for the battery holder. I mean, I use it for the battery holder, but I started using it because of the way it gives you a way to hook the plane up to paint the darn thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
put a little shoe in there, and it you know, there's a-
I made what I thought was a really clever battery holder. And now I realize that I can't move the battery if I use that thing. So I'm in the right place.
so
what you holding on to there, Bob?
I'm sorry.
No, Bob Stewart. What's Sparky's got something in his hand?
Oh.
Yeah,
I think that's the molds.
that's exactly right. I want to make sure you want these things because they're heavy.
Oh,
I just put super fill on this one because it had some dents in it and sanded it out. And this is the top for a bubble top. This is the top for a razorback. And this is the bottom.
Huh.
Bring them on.
Yep.
I don't want to tote them if I don't have to.
That kick, we had to put that kick in there too.
Yeah.
Bring
Oh,
them on, because I've got the rest of the plane. Once I get the top and bottom block made, I'll have a plane ready to paint in 30 days or less, which is a record for
Is
me.
$150 cheap, Bob?
It is
Okay.
very cheap.
is this for molded balsa?
Yeah, molding P-47 parts.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a significant amount of work to make those long. I made a set for Dave Sabon of those, and that's a lot of work.
Set for Raby's Bearcat, and it is a lot of work. That's the reason Sparky put a price on them. I jumped on it.
that might be something you could print.
It
you
takes a
3D print
while.
it?
Yeah,
You probably could.
maybe.
I think Adamoff did. He printed a wing, I think.
Oh, and I'm not the part itself, but the buck for making it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There is a guy here that has printed an RC airplane, but it flies like a printed airplane. It's heavy.
I was gonna prime this, Phil, but I'm just gonna let it go as is.
Okay,
You
I can prime it.
You don't have to. I mean, it's only for wood.
Um,
I wanted to get the dents out of it.
What you can do instead of priming them, you can do it one time and wrap it in newsprint.
newsprint.
Out newsprint. You wrap it the first time in newsprint and let that sit. When you peel it off, it'll come off unevenly, but it will all come off eventually. Just, I mean, in a few minutes. But
And then-
somehow
and
or
then you
another,
can-
somehow that gets the sticky off of it. Al Raby told me that when I did the Bearcat. But
What?
then he also told me I got that far and got it all cleaned up. And he said, or you can use some cheap rattle can spray paint and paint it.
Well, what I do is I cover them with wax paper and mold over the top of wax paper, and it just falls off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
here's
worked too.
If you use Phil's method, then you can read the day's news on the mold. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the ones I
even
did
think-
for
I don't even
Sabon.
think they sell newspapers anymore.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh, they still sell them. I don't know how well they sell, but they sure sell a lot. I mean,
So you got a bottom and a nose block there, Bob, right?
Yeah, that's it. I don't know where the other one is, but these are the ones I made for Dave Sabon. He's
Yeah.
made a couple of them now. So
You got to have that kink in it.
yes, sir. Well,
So is he active again? Charles sees him from time to time.
I don't. Yeah, I guess so. I heard from him just a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Oh, good. Yeah,
He's
last time I saw-
nice guy and a pretty good flyer too.
yeah, he whooped me with a shark. Not a Yasenko shark, but a shark 45.
Oh wow.
wow.
He had a 60 in
What?
it.
That is a good airplane, but I have committed heresy. At least Jim Lynch would think so. Jim helped me with the design for the front end of my Shark 45. Well, mine's the Humbler, the early version. But oh, look at that. That must be to the twin. Anyway.
This was the Crossfire.
Oh, okay.
That looks
I
kind
got
of,
it all set up. I got it all set up for a Tiger 60 and then hung that fuselage up and built a new one for electric.
oh,
Still got the bubble underneath it and everything, but it's electric. Jim would not be happy with me, I'm afraid.
oh. What now? What's the motor part number, Bob, for that has the low KV?
I don't know.
You were telling us last week.
Yeah, it's a 2320, but I don't. It's a 570, I think, or something like that. I didn't get the actual last number because he says it's not listed yet, and he's going to let me know when it's available. And
Yeah, Lucian said it was not available yet. I've already called and tried to
Right.
find out.
2320.
Whoa, what happened here?
Well, I gotta tell you, that 18650 battery, people, they called me. I made an order the night that you told me about it, and they called me this morning and they said it'll be here Wednesday.
there you go.
Okay. Well, you have to wait.
It shows. I think that's Frank's Cadrone, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Well, you're just a buck machine.
A buck machine. Be careful how you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, John Miller
Well, he-
slipped in.
He
No.
published some paper, a booklet that told how to do that. And it's actually pretty easy the way he did it. I mean, it's not easy, but it's doable. And you see the gaps in it, looks like slots in it. You got your formers to go in it to boot.
Yeah, they match up to the formers in the crutch, and you can sand them right in the buck, and then they fit right onto the fuselage. It works really well.
Yeah.
I
The way
used to do
I
it that.
It's
I
different.
used, I used to do it that way, but this set of bucks that I got here does not have the slots in it, but you can cut them in if you want.
It fits. I mean, I've already got the bucks on the plans. It'll be all right. What's the matter, Jack?
Yeah, I hot wired
Good evening,
mine.
John.
Use plastic, blue stuff, and they're pretty ugly.
Well, I'll tell you what was ugly. Somebody came to, I think it seems like it was Brodak a year or two ago, maybe 3, I don't remember. And he had one of Bob's old airplanes. And it was a test bed made out of styrofoam. I don't mean sheeted, I mean it was styrofoam.
Mm-hmm.
And he crashed the thing. It looked like it exploded. Man, it was 10 minutes, the dang foam still raining down. I hated that he lost the airplane, but it was so weird to see
Yeah.
that foam going everywhere. It
Yeah.
was
Air collision.
wild looking.
comment.
Yeah. I felt terrible for the guy because he didn't do anything wrong. It didn't seem like, but I didn't see the actual crash, so I don't know what happened. But he was sure flying it well up to that point. Just somebody said, "Turn around, look." And I turned around and there's all this foam in the air. What the heck?
Popcorn, as we used to call it. Popcorn
Yeah.
wings.
Oh,
I think Werwich came up with that actually.
but
That
but
wouldn't surprise me.
so I've got to go turn the water on.
Uh-oh. The man has come up with a few colloquialisms.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah. That's the reason it took me 3 tries.
When you get the formers, and then you can tape them to the corresponding former in the crutch, and then put the stringer in, and then glue that in place, and then put the shell in place, and tack glue it to the formers and get it so it's about a third of the way glued, and then you can untape the formers and pull everything off, and everything stays aligned, and you can finish gluing the shell to the former, and everything will fit perfectly every time.
That is neat.
Well, those bucks that I got, I built 6 P-47s off that. So Phil, you'll be the 7th. So
Wow.
Be all right. Sounds good. Be 7 and 8 because I'm gonna build one of each.
They were nice.
Yeah. I saw one of them. I saw the electric one. I got to toss it around. Wanted to bring it home, but I just didn't have the money that he wanted for it.
Holy shit.
The one that Ty Marcucci had?
Well, Tom Morris had it when I saw it.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Yeah, that was my
What is
last
the
one.
hole for?
The what?
What's the hole for, Bob?
The hole? What hole?
Almost under your thumb. Oh, never mind. That's not a hole. That's carbon veil.
No, that's
Yeah.
a wing. A wing. Oh,
Yeah, when
mean
you do a compound curve, when you had to, take the pie cut out, it starts to
Yeah.
buckle. So you split it, overlay it, and recut it and take the pie piece out.
Yeah.
Then you got to glue it after it's,
Yeah, I've done that. I had to do it
Yeah.
on front of the Bearcat, but I I just didn't show up very well there. I don't know.
Oh, you
I
put
didn't see it right.
some black stuff on the inside, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think one of the skins that I did on my Thunderbolt bottom, that one of the piped ones, I think it was the second one, the one that you saw, Phil. The bottom is carbon veil on the inside and the outside of that shell.
Yeah. All I remember is that was a big airplane to be that light, and it flew really well until, and then all of a sudden it didn't.
Memphis.
Yeah. I have to go to a road trip and see the one where Sparky crashes his airplane. That just kind of wished I'd stayed home after that. I didn't want to see that.
Were you there?
That broke my heart. I know Sparky was heartbroken.
Were you there in Memphis when I hit the ground?
Yeah. Yeah, I went out to see my cousin and found out, hey, there's a model contest this weekend. Well, heck, let's go see it. So I had my cousins, I had two of my cousins and my older brother and several people out there. And oh, I was sick all the way back. I think they thought it was fun. It's like a race. We go to a race and everybody, what does everybody want to see at the race? You don't want to see who wins. You want to see the wrecks. Well, they saw the wreck.
The hard part was driving home with it in the back
I'll
of
bet.
the car.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
It's a finished project.
What is that? That looks like a.
This is called the rounder.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Basically a glorified Caprice.
Yeah.
I sold that to Joe Daly when he was first starting out, and he flew it for quite a while. Then he went straight in. This had that reverse composite wing on it, which I composited silk span under pressure against the skins. The airplane shattered. The wing dropped out in one piece. He used it again.
Golly.
That was really strong.
I had a Nobler. I had a prop strike on a wing over, and did not realize that I'd had a prop. Didn't realize anything was wrong. I thought I just fuzzed it, and I went to do the wing over, and the plane just kept coming in at me as it's coming over. So I realized I got the wires are about 8 feet behind the airplanes that goes overhead. And I said, oh, this ain't going to be good. So I started backing up and tried to pull up. That plane went straight in. I mean, the fuselage, everything just, you talking about exploding. But the motor, the LA-40 it still runs. I don't understand it. Destroyed that carbon fiber spinner, but the LA-40 still runs.
The worst midair explosion I saw was at the Nats. That friend of yours, Bob, the one who had the white crossfire. You know what I'm talking about? I think it might be Rick Huff.
Oh, Tommy Luciano?
No, it wasn't Tommy. I think it was Rick Huff. He had a prop strike and the blade flew off.
Oh.
Flew a quarter.
He never had a crossfire.
What was it then?
I don't know.
I think it was Rick Huff. I don't think it was Tom Luciano.
Okay.
It blade flew off and it flew a quarter of a lap and it exploded in the air. Just
Worst one I ever saw was Paul Walker's Mustang. It did. I didn't see what happened. I just looked up and was watching. Hey, Paul's flying the Mustang, and about that time, it looked like somebody shot it. It just
Fancher had one at the '84 World Championships, not '84, the 2004. He had one explode on him.
Yeah, I felt sick for him with the last one. You know, he did the final edition and the darn wing folded. Oh, that was awful. That was a beautiful airplane too.
Got here.
First one he done with a pipe tunnel on it. You know, the plans show a pipe tunnel, but I'd never seen anybody do one, including him. Then all of a sudden he did one, had a pipe tunnel in it, and had I think it was a Rojet 75 or 76, whatever it was, and a pipe. It was really, really pretty. And he did just a masterful paint job on it. And then the darn wing folded.
Well, the best cow builder in the world, I think, is Ted Fancher.
Oh,
Ted
man,
Fancher.
those cows are beautiful.
Ted Fancher, definitely. Yep.
Beautiful. I think I probably have a picture of that airplane here. Hold on.
Remember on the pond scum purple people eater, you had to plug up the holes on it there in cow.
I bet he spent half the build time on the cow.
Yeah.
I asked him about that. I asked him how long it took him to make a cow. He says it's probably 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, your ass.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I
Well,
said.
that's that California time. It's 4 hours behind us, so it's actually 8 hours. You know.
Yeah, that's probably about
That's
right.
how it works.
Yeah, that's how
I'm
they
telling
do it.
you, Ted is he can do some pretty work.
Yes, he can. I got a picture of that airplane here someplace. Pre-explosion.
Yeah.
Explosion. That'd be good.
Doesn't show the cow real well, but
Go ahead, buddy. There you go. That's special edition. Yeah, they did another one after that, final edition. This is the one that exploded.
that's the one
And
that
then and then final edition, the wing folded. And it was, both of them were just beautiful.
Another good cow builder is that Claudio Chacon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That yellow airplane of his. That's
Mhm.
beautiful work. Of course, I haven't seen it in person, but it sure looks good in pictures.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty in pictures, though. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Good boy. Oh,
Thought I had a picture of that airplane in flight, but I can't seem to find it.
you only got about 2 million pictures. No big deal.
5,304.
That's all?
Well, I had some duplicates, so I cloned. I leaned it
Cloned
down
them.
to 5,304. There's a lot of personal pictures that aren't in there.
Hey, Bob, that thing we were talking about on the CDs, did you ever get that guy working on them?
Yeah, matter of fact, he called me today and said he's working on them. He had a heart attack,
Oh, no.
Oh, Lord.
and he's feeling better now. So he's on it. I
Well,
should have him pretty quick now.
Okay.
there's just a lot of people that have had them darn things lately. My wife's cousin called us last night. He'd had, I can't remember I remember 2 out of 3. He had a heart attack and a stroke at the same time, but there was a third one. And the doctors are trying to figure out how in the world he's still alive, but he's a tough old bird.
The #1 killer in the U.S. is heart attack.
Yeah,
That guy.
that's pretty. Who was that masked man?
Yeah.
Mm.
Anybody that don't know who that is, I'm telling you, don't know anything about stunt in the last 30 years, 40 years.
You know, that airplane has got almost no time on it. He only uses that at big contests, and he only flies it the week before he goes to the contest. That's got probably less time than any of his airplanes, and it's been around for what, 30 years?
Mhm.
More than 30 years.
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah, I was out recently to his house and saw it. It's in the same exact condition. It's beautiful.
Well, I know that thing's got some tricks on it. There's just so subtle, the paint tricks, like the cowl where it curls down where the thing would be. Well, the fuselage would curl in and the cowl would come over it. And he did that with his paint line. It just really looks nice.
Well,
That's the one you were
it's-
talking about, I think.
it's sanded in, Phil.
Do what?
That is sanded in.
Yeah, that's That's
You sand a
God, I
slight
can't.
line where the cowl meets the flaps down, and then paint the flaps and the parting line of the cowl onto the fuselage. But yeah, it's 3D
Okay,
sanded in. That's how I did mine. When I
does a
took
beautiful
measurements,
job.
when I took measurements off that airplane in 2004, I wanted to build some. Because I was so impressed with it, and I didn't realize that that airplane was only 53 ounces.
Yeah,
That's why it was impressive.
I was sitting there talking to Bill and talking about the airplane, and I was talking about the weight of it. He told me what it weighed. I said, "Are you kidding? As big as that is?" He said, "Pick it up."
54 ounces.
Well, I was scared to touch it because I was afraid I'd dent it or something. But I put my fingers under it instead of picking it up flat where my rings could touch it. Just picked it up there at the landing gear, picked it up. I said, "Good grief, Bill, where's the helium bottle? This is a big airplane to weigh 53 ounces, 54, whatever it is."
Is that Zan Ping on the right there?
That's who?
Zan Ping?
I think so, yeah.
I guess he retired.
I guess so. I don't know.
I've been told he's in Canada, but he,
That's Zhang Shaijian.
oh, Shanghai. Okay.
He's in Canada. This other guy is still in China, as far as I
Okay.
know. Here's our team that year.
One of the guys locally built his airplane. The I can't remember the name of it now. Darn. Anyway. Oh yeah. There it is. Special edition. There was another one after that one too. That was because it was final edition. I've got pictures of it myself.
Man, that Robbie Gruber is tall.
Yeah.
He could fly too.
Yeah.
Good flyer.
Yeah, he could. He could.
Actually, he still can, but I think he went to a Ivy League school and he's making money.
He's a lawyer now in San Francisco, I think.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Good for him.
yeah.
Look at how much higher his shoulder is above everybody else. That makes
Yeah, he's a nice
level
kid.
flight easy.
Yeah.
His level flight is over my head.
Yeah.
You remember when he was
Anybody know who this guy is with Billy here?
remember when he first started out though, he flew with two hands. Yeah.
So
You know
does
who that is.
Dave Brown.
Dave Brown.
Yeah.
He's gone now.
Dave's dead?
Oh yeah, he died a
did-
few years ago.
I did not know that.
Good guy.
He was a great guy.
Yeah.
Good flyer, man. I mean, he was one heck of an RC flyer. I used to fly against him in control line stunt up in New Bedford back in 66, 67, that era. I flew against him.
Hmm.
Nice
And
guy.
did you fly against him in pattern?
No, he was way
RC?
beyond me in pattern. I was in advanced. He was, master's class.
Oh, okay.
He's a real good pattern flyer. He pulled a trick one day, a gag. He had his airplane out on the line ready to go, and a kid walks out there and starts it, and the kid didn't, it was a guy ostensibly didn't know how to fly, and he took off, and the airplane's all over the sky, and Dave was actually back at his trailer with a transmitter flying the airplane.
Oh Lord. Oh.
Funny. Yeah, good man.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Howard probably knows, but I think that red, white, and blue Mustang is the one that he actually flew in the Worlds because the other one had a much
It
slicker
was.
paint job, the one that
That was
exploded.
that was at the World.
Yeah, that's the one he flew at the Worlds. Yeah.
All those photos.
The
were
other
from
one
the-
was there to fly, but it exploded before the World started.
One
Yeah.
with the stripes on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
those
had a whole bunch of stripes.
That was a cool paint job, I thought.
It
Yeah.
was. It didn't look so good in pieces in the air, though. It looked horrifying.
Robert
Did he ever
Orton
figure out
says
what happened to that thing?
second cause of death is telling your wife how she really looks in the outfit when she asks you to give your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Here was the most perfect model airplane. I don't know if this picture will show or not. It's not that big. The most perfect model airplane I've ever seen in my life. The stunt ship. Let's see if it'll.
Oh, it's more like Joe Gilbert.
Yeah,
Oh, that.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I can't get it to be any bigger, unfortunately.
I saw that at the Nats on the back row, and I absolutely wondered what
Yeah.
dum-dum did this.
I know what Dum Dum did it, but I'm not going to say his name.
No, don't, because I don't want to be upset with anybody. But that was the most beautiful, most
The guy was the
perfect
event
stunt.
director. He took the airplane out of Ron's hands and walked it right to the back of the room and set it at the back of the room.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, just
Talk about
disturbing.
a slap down.
Yeah, disturbing.
There's iPad.
Yeah, iPad
Nice.
showed up.
That was to me the most perfect stunner I've ever seen because everything was right. He didn't do the plane and then do just a landing gear. He put a scale gear under it, and the wheel openings were right, and the paint job was right. It wasn't super shiny. It was done as a scale plane,
Well, yeah, it was a skill plane. It was done.
but it was
modeled
perfect.
an FM2 Wildcat that had been painted over another
Over.
scale scheme, and then it had been weathered. And the first finish was showing through the second finish, which was scaled to the actual airplane modeling.
Yeah.
And
it was done in
director just
epoxy.
thought it was terrible, and he moved it to the back of the room. Now, here's a question. It came up yesterday. I was talking to Frank McMillan about this, about appearance point judging, because I'm going to be one of the appearance point judges at the National. Bobby McDonald and I are going to do it together.
Good. Oh,
That would
great.
be a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's, that's fine. But appearance point judging, does anybody know the criteria for that?
There are none.
That's right, there are none. I mean, it's
I don't
appearance.
think there really are. It's
Shiny,
It used
shiny.
to be 10 points for workmanship and 10 points for finish, but now it's just appearance.
Yeah, I have to do that one time, and I panicked. And
It's completely subjective.
yeah,
Now, who's to say what a good fit? This has become a shine contest rather than a finish contest.
Hmm.
Who's to say Ron Burns' airplane wasn't as perfectly finished as anybody else's shiny airplane?
Yeah.
I think it was. To
So
my
why
mind,
should-
that was
why
the
should
best
shine
finish
be-
I've ever seen.
Why should shine be one of the criteria? I mean, if
I don't
you
think
do a
it
shiny
should.
airplane, it's got to be done well. But if you do a dull or matte finished airplane and it's done well, why shouldn't it get the same points? I mean, considering everything else is
I've got some wax downstairs that goes on a car show car. I can put that on the dullest airplane on the field. And for a couple of 3 hours, that thing will be the shiniest thing on the field.
what kind of wax?
It won't last. I don't know the name, but I'll get it.
Go
But
get
Yeah,
it
it.
get
is
it. We want to see it.
It is the shiniest crap I've ever seen, but it feels greasy. Even after you buff it out, it feels greasy. It won't last, and it's based on a fuel model, which is what I tried to put it on, and it didn't work.
Let's see
But
it.
Yeah.
I'll go get it. I'll walk down there in a minute. I want to hear the rest
But
of
at
the
any
story.
rate, going back to this appearance point thing, I think we need some better guidelines about finish. So if somebody does show up with a scale airplane with a matte finish that's done just as well as a shiny airplane with a shiny finish, it doesn't suffer.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right.
Bob, I think something to consider, because how many stunt appearance judges really know what it's like to be a scale appearance judge? And it might be that if you're gonna put the effort in to do something like Burns did, maybe you need to have a presentation on it, and pictures and some
Why?
because
Why do we automatically assume that shiny is better than a matte?
who said anything about shiny? I'm
Let me
talking about
inject here, please, because I've done that job. I didn't look at the shine. You look at the woodwork. Who's the best craftsman?
Well, that's one of the
That
criteria
used to
you
be
look at.
part of it.
That's one of the guidelines, but it's not the only guideline.
I understand that, but when you say you're looking at the shine, no, I'm looking at, are the fits right? Does he have a wonky cow fit or whatever?
Right, that's one of the criteria, but people seem to think that finish means shine. Finish does not necessarily mean shine.
Well executed, good workmanship is going to score high. Crappy workmanship and not well executed is going to score low.
Workmanship is part of it. Finish and workmanship, I mean, they can be the same thing, but they can also be separate things. You can have a sloppy fits and a really nice shiny finish, So we need to have a little bit better defined appearance point guide to make it fair for people who go out of their way to do something completely different and do it well, but it's completely different than what you're used to, like Ron Burns' airplane.
Let's go back to 40 points in the four different.
Here, that's good.
We're not going back to 40 points.
In the four, well, they had four different criteria. It was workmanship,
realism, finish, and
originality.
Yeah.
No, damn, Ron was a one hands down.
I agree it should be 40 points because it ought to be worth at least one maneuver. Not a half a maneuver.
All right, what is the name of our event? What is the name of our event?
Precision aerobatics.
Precision aerobatics. It's not precision spray painting. It's not precision globe powered aerobatics or electric powered or two chipmunks on a turntable spinning the prop. It's precision aerobatics. It's about geometry.
Okay, great. Now, how many people will you lose when you get rid of, if you go to FAI?
I'm not saying go to FAI. I'm saying keep it at 20 points, but judge it a little differently than we're judging it now.
So we could have precision builder of the model, huh?
Why not have 4 segments, 5 points apiece?
No, 10. Should be worth one maneuver. Never did understand dropping to 20.
Well, it was just a consensus opinion, and they voted on it. And that was that.
That's the way it is.
I'm not saying drop the occurrence points. I mean, I am for that because I believe we should be in lockstep, with the rest of the world. But I'm in the minority on that, so that's fine. Keep it at 20, but let's change the criteria a little bit, or at least the guidelines.
I think the old guidelines at 5 points apiece. You want to leave it if you want to leave it at 20
There were
points.
10 points apiece.
I know they were, but make them 5 points. If you want to leave it overall at 20 points, make them 5 points apiece.
Well, that's something you can bring that up as a proposal. I mean, that's fine. If you want to do that, I don't think it'll pass. I mean,
I don't think it will either.
How you can have something be scale or realistic, and then also be original.
Oh,
You can't.
Matt
Two kind of.
that out and put it in a proposal. And it's like a scale model of something that's not the usual scale model. Like a Mustang wouldn't get that many points for originality, but a Wright Flyer, for example, would.
Yeah, I want to see you stunt that thing.
Now, there was a guy there that had something like that. It was a triplane with 3 motors on it, and it didn't fly half bad.
Funny. I
You know
remember
who I'm
back in
talking
the,
about, Bob?
what's that?
You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, that's that guy out in the West Coast,
No, East Coast.
East Coast.
Yeah, I thought he came from the East Coast.
I remember seeing it.
I thought it was from
We had
South
the
Carolina,
appearance
but I
point,
don't remember.
The feature we had in Stunt News called Appearance Point. We had a guy had a tri-motor stunner in there. It was pretty deep. Back in the old days, in the 60s, on the East Coast, here's a funny thing. If you didn't have an orange airplane, you didn't get any originality points.
Huh?
Every airplane on the field was orange.
Except for your bronze ones.
Well, this is long before the bronze.
Oh,
years
okay.
and years and years before the bronze. Pretty funny.
Wow, that is pretty funny. Because now it seems like you got to have a stripe or something, a yellow on it to do anything.
Yellow's good.
You're gonna have to wait 2 years to put in a rules proposal. That was over in March.
But we
Yeah.
don't have to wait 2 years to change the guidelines.
Ah, no, you're right.
Since there are no guys.
Somebody just, Bob, I think somebody has to write it up.
I'm going to.
There you go.
Yeah.
I brought it up.
I kind of had an inkling.
That's one of
That's
my
where you
little
were
campaign
going.
things. If I become Tampa president, that's one of the things I'm going to work on is redefining some of the guidelines.
In the real world, when you take your home built up to get it looked at and they inspect it, they want to see a book where you built that booger.
That's right. I'd like to see that happen.
in
too.
the real world of aviation.
Don't they have to document in scale?
No,
Not that kind of documentation.
No, they have to document it, but doesn't have to be scale pictures for it.
no, they don't, because I flew scale and I didn't have to document anything.
You have
Oh,
to have
you're
your
talking-
airplane
yeah.
and pictures your airplane to compare it to the real one.
You're talking about scale models. I'm talking about
Right.
scale real ones.
You have to have 3 views of the real airplane and pictures of the real airplane.
Mm-hmm.
But
You
nothing
don't have
about
to
the,
have, you don't
Nothing
have to
about who
have
built
pictures
it.
of you building it.
I see.
But in full scale, you do technically.
I have a question for Steve. You're working on this judging thing. Have you guys come up with any kind of issues where you want to see the guidelines changed because of some of the things you're teaching? The
Oh,
guidelines.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I missed the rules proposal deadline because I was sick. So
Yeah, but you can still do a guideline that would help judges, without.
that would have to go in the judge's guide. It wouldn't be part of the rule book.
Right.
But I think even the judge's guide has to go through the change process.
Does it? No, I don't think so.
No,
I'm
have
not
to ask Keith
knowledgeable enough.
Crossell.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. That's a guideline. That's not. That's
Right.
not
It's just a guideline. It's not the rule.
41.
You ever read the description of landing?
I'm sure I have.
Yes.
What's emphasized? Well, does anybody know what's emphasized in that description in the rule?
Steady descent to landing.
No,
Mm-hmm.
bounce.
No?
Bounce is what they highlight, and it's not. It doesn't say steady. Let me pull that up.
Look it
That-
up.
That's been bugging me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull that up.
See, we're actually doing something except talking about fishing or music or whatever. We're actually talking about airplanes.
Yeah, how about that?
We got you leading the pack.
I'm not
Bob.
leading anything. I'm just part of the crew.
There we go. Not that one. No, I don't want control in general.
3,
Hmm.
6, 7 ounces.
You want a smooth
boy.
touchdown, is what I remember it saying, but maybe I'm wrong.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Well,
Where
they're
you
looking.
going with that gun in your
Everybody's getting that. I need to talk to Colleen sometime in the near future.
You
I'm
want
here.
you may turn it toward you, or you want to call
me
her?
Well, no, not in this format. I need to talk to her, about Pampa issues.
I'll text you her information. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Her phone number,
She doesn't
stuff.
mind,
And you,
talking to me about it because there's some things I want to get clear before I even make this run.
Okay.
she's not the. She's just a treasurer.
Oh,
There's Steve
that's yeah,
Ballard.
no doubt.
First time.
All
Steve
right. Can I
Ballard's
share my
on.
screen?
Yeah, go.
Share it. Do it.
All right. Here's a rule book landing. Correct landing is judged when the model descends smoothly. So there's 2 words there. To land with no bounce or unusual roughness, and without any part of the model other than landing gear or any ground.
Mhm.
It does not say where you start judging that descent.
No.
Is it is it when the motor dies?
No, it's
Is it
wherever.
when you cross a certain threshold? It's not there.
But an FAI, it's an FAI.
It is.
Yeah, in
But
FAI,
it's
but
not
not
here.
in
If you
not
want
in
to start
AMA.
at 80 degrees up high, they're going to judge you on the whole. I'm going to judge you on the whole descent to landing.
But it's not called out in the rule.
It's not, so you have to judge it all. It says an error occurs each time the model deviates from a smooth descent.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Like the part that says any unusual circumstances.
And okay, so we have takeoff and level flight, right? That's a maneuver. Shouldn't we have approach and landing instead of just landing?
Well, that's a good point. Maybe that's something we need to Of course, that would be a rule book change, I think, wouldn't it?
I think so, yeah. Because I would propose that you start judging at a certain height, maybe normal level flight level. That's when you start judging the descent. Or
That's
you can
what
make it
FAI
45. I mean, that part's arbitrary, but you know, it's I think it's something that needs to be defined. Because otherwise you got what Joe said, you got a guy flying up here at 80 degrees and then coming down. That's too many chances for making an error.
But that's his problem, not
By
yours.
the same
Well, if
token,
it's-
True.
That's his
That's true.
Hey,
It
guys,
says it is permissible to extend by whipping the descent
Yeah,
to
that's
achieve
if
the minimum of 2 laps. Now, if you do that, you can't
you're
judge the whole
not going to
thing.
be a smooth descent. No,
No.
you're going to
Steve,
be
you
at
were
a
saying if you start at a high altitude, you have more chances to make mistakes, which is
That's correct.
absolutely true. By the same token, if you start and you do a smooth wind down right to the touchdown from, let's say, 60 degrees or whatever, it can be very impressive too.
It can be.
Can
It
be.
is.
Yeah,
plus
it can be.
you can get that 2 laps in between the maneuvers.
It just looks, it's a different way of presenting it, and if you do it well, you can get points. That's what I try to do, is that long, gentle, constant descent right to the landing with no pull up or no, deviation. It's
No
difficult to do,
stair steps.
especially in wind. It's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Approach and landing should be judged as 2 separate things.
Yeah. Well, not 2 separate things, but two segments of the
Well, 2
maneuver.
segments of the same maneuver. Yeah.
Right. Right.
As
agree.
takeoff.
You wanna match the landing definition with the FAIs?
I don't. I haven't looked at the FAIs. I need to.
It's kind of peculiar.
Are you
It
gonna
is.
read more
Yeah.
of
It has to do with where the plane stops, isn't it?
The
Was it
maneuver starts at 5 feet and a meter and a half, and goes and you're supposed to go 1 lap before you land.
Well, yeah.
5
Okay.
feet.
So you
From the
can
point
start
where
at
you start descending, you're supposed to land 1 lap later at that point.
1 lap.
5 foot.
1 lap
5
after
foot.
you hit 5 feet.
Hey, Steve, we got some people that came in. Are you gonna read off that document?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can stop sharing here. Let me
That's
go
good
back
stuff,
to
Dave.
that.
That's good stuff.
Peter Bauer, you gotta unmute yourself if you wanna talk.
Pete Bauer. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, hey, there he is.
When I have something to say, I'll let you know.
Okay.
He's got a
Good to see
British
you here.
Islander behind him.
It's his first time in here.
I haven't seen you in
Yeah.
years, Pete.
Wow. And we got Mark Gerber too.
Yeah, we're gonna have Bearcat updates.
Oh man, you are on him on that every time.
The FAI landing is really, really, really very, very difficult to do
Yes,
properly.
it is.
Very difficult. If it's calm, you can get away with it. But when the engine goes, yeah, and stops,
Mm-hmm.
if you're at 5 foot, you got to touch down at that point.
Yeah.
If you're at 80 foot, it goes, and you dive. When you dive, you're required to level off. And when you level off, that's when it's going to start at 5
1
foot.
lap from that point.
From that point, not when it quits, but when you level off.
When you level off. Yeah.
And that's all hard to judge and very difficult to do also.
Why don't you do a kill loop?
Say again?
Do a kill loop.
That's fine. But if you kill it at 20 feet, you still got to get down to 5 foot to stop it. But that is the best option, because you can
Howard-
kill it going into the wind and land in the wind. Or when the
Howard,
wind's
yeah.
blowing 20, and my goal is to get it on the ground downwind.
Yeah.
Howard,
Yeah.
didn't you do something in a program so that right at the end of the flight it would speed up so that you would have the momentum to do that 1 lap
That'd be brilliant.
After a kill loop.
after the kill?
Yeah. Howard does a kill loop.
I'll show you here in a few minutes.
I am very interested in Peter attending here. What brought you in?
I thought I'd just listen in one time and see what you guys talk about. Interesting talking about the landing, because I fly scale. I don't fly precision aerobatics anymore. And I was just going to ask you guys, is there anything in the rule book? Because in scale, it's all about in a realistic manner for the model that you're modeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
So
don't have,
it's a difference between a B-17 and a little fighter, they're gonna fly and land differently. So I was just wondering, I don't think it has that in precision aerobatics in a
No.
realistic
No,
manner.
it doesn't.
No.
hey, listen, Pete, how's your sister Paula?
Good. She's in France.
Wow.
Yeah, she's lived in France for about 30 years now. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. She's there. My younger brother's still in Chicago here. My older brother's in Florida. So, and mom is still around. I saw mom today.
I remember
Well
you
done.
when you were just a kid.
It was a long time ago. I've been flying now for probably 55 years.
Yeah. Remember your dad very well?
Yeah. So I was out flying, but I don't fly aerobatics anymore. I've been practicing my F4. That's all I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you coming to St. Louis in September again?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah, we look
Wow.
we're gonna have I think we're gonna have a bigger crowd in scale because we're kind of combining with the
The NASA. Yeah.
NASA scale for control line.
Yeah. Right. And
F-100 Super Saber. Somebody
And
needs to
bring 'em
build
all.
an F-100 Super Saber because all you got to do is crash the thing, and that's an F-100. That's a scale landing. Those things don't land. They do a controlled
My.
crash. I've never
Come
seen
on.
anything hit the ground that hard and roll away.
F4 Phantom will.
Yeah.
No,
It's a
F4
nice
lands
trick,
gentle
a nice
compared
trick,
to
but
an
you can only
F-100.
do it once.
Yeah.
That F-100 came in, and I swan of the last 6 feet, it just fell out of the sky. I wondered why the landing gear was so big. It looked like a Navy airplane. It wasn't. It was an Air Force. But my brother says, watch the way it lands and you'll understand. And it
You know where
slammed
the
down.
word saber dance came from, don't you?
Yeah.
Get them back on the power curve. They do not
F-100.
want that to happen.
They had them darn things coming in at, I forgot the name of the Air Force base, but at Sandia National Labs in Albuquerque. And Don worked for Sandia. And we saw those things come in. I thought that was the darndest thing I'd ever seen.
They lost a lot of them.
Mm.
Yeah, man, they slammed into the ground.
The
Good
Hun.
grief.
The Hun.
Somebody wake up Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need
He'll
to
wake
mount
up.
an F8 Crusader and have the wing pop up when the engine quits.
That's a weird, that thing looked weird. The whole wing went up. It didn't have flaps. The whole wing
Yeah, it
went
did. It
up.
had flaps. The whole wing, back of the wing was flaps.
Well, yeah, back of the wing, I guess.
That
But
was
seriously,
incredible.
there was no movable flap. The whole darn wing was the flap.
When did they fly that? 57, 55?
Something like
The
that.
Crusader was an incredible airplane for the day, y'all.
All
They
throughout
called
the
it the
Vietnam
last great
War.
gunfighter. It was the last gunfighter.
They called it, yeah, the last gunfighter, right?
That's right.
Did you paint any of those, Bob?
No.
Sparky? No? They were
No.
gone by the time you were there?
Yep.
I got a question for you guys. See the plane behind me?
Islander?
Oh yeah.
Islander, sure.
How would I go about reproducing that for scale, that tail on that plane?
Oh, Cali Graphics.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've sent it to Callie, so I wanted to see if anyone had other ideas.
No, Cali would be my number one choice. I
You
have
got an
ridden in one
overhead
of those. That's a
projector?
nice airplane.
You got an overhead projector?
Yeah, I could try that, right?
There you go. That'd be the easiest way.
What would I do? Project it and then pencil it and paint it by hand?
Yeah. Well, no, you could cut a stencil if you wanted.
The mask cut.
Cali cut a stencil.
That's what I'm considering for the next one is that, but I got to make sure I can reproduce that on the tail like that with all the handwriting and all that.
Oh, she does little bitty things,
Yeah. That's still hard
like
to get that.
fuel
Masks.
and all kinds of stuff. A little frisket. She calls it a frisket. And you put a big piece of paper around it, lay that on the wing where you want it, and hit it with a airbrush one time, and it's perfect. That's the way Al Raby put the details on the Bearcat and all his planes, but
But
saw him do it to one of the Bearcats.
That's
And
all
all
cut
decals
on
were cut
curve.
by Tank Hangersley.
No,
Yes,
No,
because
he
I
got
bought
these.
them.
Well, the ones that were cut, the ones that he used when I watched him paint were done by the girl in Albuquerque because he gave me her address and I saw the envelope and the return address on it, and it was from her.
Okay.
Who was the gal that had the New York accent that was strong enough to cut stone? You remember her? She had a hell of a New York accent, but she lived in
I know who you're
California.
talking about, but I don't know her name.
She did graphics. And she's out of California.
Hmm.
Really good at it too.
Mm-hmm.
There's just, if you make, Cali can make a stencil, but that's got to be laid on there perfect with no wrinkles and go around compound curves.
Yeah.
None of that's easy, y'all. There's a lot of stuff right there.
Oh,
I
there's
just got a
nothing easy
stencil
about
of
it. That right there would have to be 3 or 4 pieces, because where it folds in at the rudder, that would have
Yeah,
to be a piece, and then it all have to be different pieces.
Put your thumb on a table, Peter, and hit it real hard with the hammer and get over that.
Yeah.
My,
How tall is the rudder?
Hang on. Let me go.
Those are pretty good size airplanes. I've flown those airplanes. I've flown 2 of them.
I'm talking about his
I've
model.
ridden
How
one.
tall
Oh, the
is
I've
model.
flown.
I don't know how big the model is.
That reminds me of the Aero Commander.
That tells you how big the graphics are.
The rudder's about a foot tall.
Oh, you got plenty of room then. That'd be an easy stencil to cut.
Those graphics are fairly large.
Yeah. So I'm trying to convince my wife we need to go. That plane's down in Costa Rica, so I want to go take photos of it down there.
Here's dedicated
there
model.
you go. Yes.
I'm gonna tell you
that's
what,
a great excuse.
if you talk her into that one, you let me know how you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me some hints and clues, because I can't talk my wife into a darn thing when it comes to models.
Well,
Well,
it's,
that's not true. That's not
you
true,
know,
because she
Phil.
goes to a lot of contests with me.
Phil, it's
Huh?
got to be their idea.
Yeah, I
That's
know
how
it.
you do it. It's got to be their idea.
Yeah,
Everything else is low.
that's true.
You got to be patient and you got to work it, but eventually it'll be her idea and then you're in.
Yeah, I got to work on that. I got to work on that. I can say that right now because she's gone to the doctor. If I was to say
I
it,
would
she
say
was.
Yeah,
you're talking awful brave.
Mine wife's in Norway, so I don't have to worry either, unless
Yeah.
she's watching this.
No, I don't think mine's watching. She's at the doctor's office. She managed to turn her ankle, and
Oh no.
yeah,
I had heard that Tank Hangersley sold all his graphic equipment to Built Right, which is what's his name?
Walt Umlin.
Walter
Yeah,
Umlin.
Walter Umlin. I paid $140 for a sheet of those stencils from Tank Hangersley, and it was worth it. I mean, you couldn't reproduce that. No step and all the nomenclature on the airplane.
I tried to send him some stuff one time, and he sent it, but they sent it back. Came back undeliverable. I guess he'd moved or something. I don't know what happened.
Well, I know he's not doing it anymore.
Peter,
No, he's not. He's not doing any of it anymore.
was there ever any British Islander aircraft flown in Australia? If there was, that'd be a good choice, being you're going there.
No, the next one's in UK in 26. It's in
Oh,
UK.
UK. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of good schemes from Britain.
Yeah. So there's a Facebook page for Islanders, and I put a poll out there to send me the most complicated graphics they could find, and this was one of them that came up. And
I'm sure you're right.
Do you have a close up of that airplane?
Complicated.
Do you have a close up of that airplane, Peter?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you present it to us? Do you know how to do that on here?
Give me 1 second. Yeah, I know how. I got to pull up my photos.
Okay.
Oh.
Let me see how complicated it is.
Yeah. While he's doing that, looked like Roy Lane tried to come in a couple times. I guess he's having computer or internet issues because he never quite made it in.
Man, it's been the way the weather's been, it's been a challenge to do anything lately.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, is that going to be electric powered or glow powered?
Electric.
Smart man.
I'm doing
Yeah.
a lot of electric aerobatic twins now.
Okay, so okay, let me do this picture first, and then I'm going to ask you about twins and pros and cons of counter rotating or same rotating.
Yeah, I got some experience.
Okay, hang on. Let me get back to Zoom so I can share. Share. There. Share. Is that big enough?
There you go. Yeah.
It's better. Yeah.
That is just
Depends
wild.
how good your eyes are.
Or how far you are from the
That
screen.
wing, it's a Hershey bar, but
There,
it's
there
got
we go. Look at
Bob,
that.
notice,
all the
Bob,
flaps are
notice how
down. That's
short
why.
the nacelles are.
Yeah.
I have a yellow Islander like this, and I'm just building another one now. And I'm looking at this as the color scheme. So this is the color scheme. I think it's doable. Like you said,
Oh, yes.
Kelly Graphics said they can do it.
Here's how I do it, Peter. Each one of those things I would do in it's not Photoshop, but I use oh shit, now I can't remember. Simple SureCut Pro. I would duplicate each one of those little stickers twice and do each one separately, place each one separately.
Right.
I don't think you can get that on the rudder in one piece
No.
right. To
One
Is
piece.
the other side the same, or do they
Yes.
do different graphics on the other side?
Other side's the same. I have other pictures, but yeah, it's the same.
Now that makes it a little better.
And the hardest job of doing that is weeding.
Is what? Say that again?
The hardest job in doing that is weeding the stencil.
Yeah. Okay.
I could cut
Yeah,
that, but
especially the small
I don't want any
eyes
part
are
of
gonna
it.
be on that bear and stuff like that.
Those have a lot of detail in them.
Mm.
Yeah.
That wave.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of this stuff, I was a little concerned about some of the lines, like you see, where the whatever that is hanging from the branch, there's small lines in there
It's a
too.
sloth.
Mm.
That's a sloth.
Sloth, yeah.
Sloth, yeah.
Of course, you could do this too. Do you have Photoshop?
Yeah.
You could cut that rudder out and turn it monochromatic, meaning black and white,
Yeah.
and then take that as a JPEG and pull it in to my software and cut that stencil exactly as it is on there. And then you'll figure out how to do it.
Man, that'd be tough to be picking out the.
It'd be tough to pick, and it's going to be tough if you put it on in one piece. It would be real tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the top
Do it
of
in one piece, Bob, because look at on the sloth, the limb goes around the curve, and then B and beach, it's around there. It goes around.
Yeah.
You'd have to do that in two pieces.
And
look at the
I
top
think
of the
you need-
rudder. It's got a balance up there.
Oh yeah,
I think you need to
that'd be a
do it in
nightmare
all
doing
those
one
pieces.
piece. That'd be a nightmare in one piece.
But
It'd be
you
hard
could
doing
make it
two.
exact. Exact font. You could do it easy.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
It'll
Me
be
too.
at St. Louis pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of the graphics are pretty easy, but that's
Excuse me a second. I'm gonna find out how the boss is doing.
My imagination, or he missed the runway.
It must be
Oh,
a parallel.
There's two of them, taxiway and runway there.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
but his right wheel is over the grass and the left wheel's over the asphalt.
I think that's a perspective.
I think
The
that's,
nearness.
I think
it's the other way
he's
around.
got a crosswind and he's
Well, there's
got
a runway under him and another something over on the other side. Taxiway. See the blue lights?
yeah.
The blue lights are a taxiway over there, and he's on the runway.
Oh, I see. So he's on this side of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
See
Yeah,
the shadow
yeah.
there?
It's
Yeah,
an
but-
optical delusion.
I think
Yeah.
you're right.
I thought the same thing, Bob, when I first saw it.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. So flying a twin,
Uh-huh.
I keep mine both rotating the same direction, conventional.
Well, there's 4 different permutations. You know, there's tops of the props turning towards the canopy, tops of the props turning away from the canopy, both turning left, both turning right.
Yeah.
I've tried 2 of the 4 permutations. I had them both, the tops of the props turning towards the canopy, and I've tried them both with the 2 reverse pitch props. I haven't flown it the other way yet, but I didn't see much of a difference.
Okay.
What's
Yeah,
the real one have?
Counter road, they're opposite to balance out.
Yeah, it works fine.
Okay.
On a real airplane, one way works better for engine out.
Right. You know, critical engine if you do it the right way, as such.
Yeah.
The P-38 had 2 critical engines.
Yeah, the P-38, interestingly, the tops of the props had to turn away from the canopy. They didn't turn towards the canopy, the tops. They tried it on the first flights, they almost crashed the airplane.
Something.
Yeah.
And then they switched the motors because they had different cranks. And the top of the props turned away from the canopy. If you ever watch Wings on History Channel, when they're landing and spinning down, you can see the tops of the props turning away from the canopy.
That made 2 critical engines. The torque was always going the wrong way.
Yep.
If you lost one.
I think it was because of downwash on the stabilizer or something like
I think
that.
there's something to that. There was a reason. They did it on purpose.
Okay. So yeah, I was wondering because if they're opposite, what would be the difference? But it's the way the wash would come off the props and hit the stabilizer.
Right.
That way,
But
when you do your
Islander-
square maneuvers, it works
You
better.
ever see my twin, Pete?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has anyone ever done a P-38 stunner?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lou McFarland had one, and I think Sheiks had one too.
The big
Billy had
problem
his
with it
single
is-
engine version.
And there was a Sterling kit of one too. I think 2 Sterling kits actually.
Bill
Big
Suarez
problem
had
with
his
that
single
is
version.
Simon's had one.
Hey,
The aspect ratio
No,
of the wing is
Simon's
so
never
high.
had one. Simon's never had one.
It's
I'll go look at.
Billy,
I don't know what it is.
Billy Suarez had one, but it had dummy spinners on the booms. He had a single motor in the front.
Oh, shoot.
It's kind of hard to make it look at all like scale because the real one has such skinny wings,
Yeah.
Yeah.
low tip cord.
Dad was telling me about that plane. He said when they landed that thing after just a decent sized mission, you'd see them roll 2 55-gallon drums of oil out to it and fill them up.
Which
they put
airplane?
P-38.
Okay.
He said each of those motors said they were turbocharged. See that thing in the middle at the back is a turbocharger. But that darn thing would drink so much oil. They were so loose that they used so much oil that they'd have to refill them after every flight. And it said it just drained a 55-gallon drum per engine. I said, how much
can't believe
daggum oil? I can't either, but I have never been able to find out how big a reservoir that plane actually had, but it can't have had that much.
Probably 12 gallons or something. I don't know. We'll find out.
There's Billy.
I'd
That's a
like to
cool
know.
picture.
Huh?
That is a cool
That's a cool picture. Who was
put
that?
that back, Bob.
That was Bill Suarez. He didn't even know who the other guy is. The guy showed up with his design, which was published, in Model Airplane News. And the guy showed up with it. I asked him, "Who's that guy?" He said, "I have no idea who the guy was."
But that's the one with the single engine and the dummies.
32631.
The red one was Suarez. He's the one that designed it.
Yeah, that's Bill.
Yeah.
Wow,
Is
they
that
look so
push rod
young.
coming out of the center?
No,
Going down the tube, I bet.
it's going down the booms. Yeah.
Well, what's that thing in the middle of the elevator there?
I have no idea. But
Hatch point, probably.
Had a little counterbalance on it.
Counterweight, maybe. Or
Your
a
counterbalance.
There's a counterbalance right here.
Could be, I guess.
In
The
middle
other one
of the-
doesn't have it. If you notice the green one, it doesn't have that.
Doesn't need it. It's just for looks.
Yeah.
The original ad.
Good night, babe.
on there.
I'm surprised Billy didn't do his upscale paint job.
That was a scale paint job.
It was?
Yippee.
Yippee.
Well,
the
didn't
one he had,
have
the one
Yippee
he had
written
in
all
Model
across it?
Airplane News was painted olive drab and gray or blue bottom.
Yippee was the last one built, I think.
10,000.
Significant oil consumption.
8 to 16 pints an hour.
All right, there it is.
It holds 9.5 liters per engine.
8 to 16 pints per hour. Good grief.
Depending-
Well, it ain't as much as I was told, but it's still a lot
No.
more than I would have believed.
I wouldn't think there'd be that much coolant in it even. There's like probably 14 gallons of coolant.
Below 25,000 feet.
Copy.
This is if you trust AI.
This ain't AI.
Well,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, well, it's the AI overview anyway. So
Mhm.
well, I tell you what, it was a neat airplane.
Yep.
Here's
6-inch stroke. That's a lot of stroke on the motors.
Yeah.
5.5-inch bore.
Yeah, in those days they thought they couldn't do it square. They thought a square motor wouldn't run. 6-inch bore and a 6-inch stroke. They thought wouldn't work. When we proved that was wrong with go-karts, we had 4-inch bore and a 4-inch stroke, and they ran great.
Now, correct me on something. I thought most of the P-38s had the Allison engines.
It does.
Most
Okay,
of them
did
did.
any of them have the Rolls Royce?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
I don't think any of them had the rolls. Now some of them had the what was that thing called?
There you go, Pete. That's your reference.
Oh, that's pretty.
oh,
Wait a minute.
that's nice.
So that one, Bob, you got the nacelles are pretty long.
Yeah, that was the very first one.
First one, okay.
Yeah.
But
That's the one
you've been
that,
testing moving them
Bob's buddy
closer.
broke.
I'm sorry.
You've been testing moving them closer.
Yep.
But how would that affect? How would that work with a scale plane? Because he would have to make them.
Well, in a scale, and you're not looking for
scale.
kind of, you
Well,
can
that is
make them any
pretty.
length you want. I would imagine if you just get the balance point right. I don't think it's real performance. It's not aerobatic performance you're looking for.
No.
Look at the nacelle length on that Islander. It's real short.
Yeah.
Is it short?
Yeah.
Oh, here we
But
go.
that just, yes. And
Your
the
scale
Islander's
model, you're
older
not worried about
airplane.
all the rapid changes.
See how
in
short it is there?
pitch.
Behind it?
Oh yeah, that is pretty short.
It has none of the things you want a stunt ship to do.
Yeah, I just need to go around. I don't need to go up.
That's right.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
We're just thinking of what going from where you're at, okay?
13 US
Pete, here's
gallons.
the one I
Okay.
want to do, but I don't know how to do this.
Pretty
This is
cool.
the airplane I want to build.
Let's
Oh,
build,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
let's build
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
of them. I'll be up there. We'll build two.
The Icarus.
Oh my gosh.
And then
You gotta
Gotta build two. A Bronco.
that's a Canadian OB-10A Bronco variant.
Yeah, OB10. Wow.
if you can keep that stuff that's underslung beneath the wing real light, like for instance, perhaps using there's a series of posts on the forum about blowing using ABS not ABS.
Well, I'm not
PETG
worried about
plus.
I'm not worried about the pyrotechnics on the airplane. I'm just worried about the shape of the airplane.
It's top heavy. It's gonna be bottom heavy.
Yeah,
But if you
it's got
could
some-
make that out of that,
Could use some wing area.
it's got some. Well, you have to make it a semi-scale variant, but that's a pretty airplane.
yep. How many of them those do the Canadians have? Two?
I have no idea. If you go look up Icarus, OB-10A Bronco or Icarus, there's a whole bunch of, when you go to images, there's like a whole page of images of those things flying. So there's several of them up there.
Pete Day has joined us. How you been?
Yeah, there he is. Hi, Paul.
How's it going?
All is well.
You eating seeds there?
Pistachios.
Oh, pistachios.
Pete Bauer, are you related to the Bauer that used to work for Top Flight, did the monocoat stuff?
Yeah, that was my dad did the tapes. I worked there. My brothers worked there. My dad worked some there. My dad designed the planes when like Hal Perini was there and things like that too.
Okay, yeah, you guys came out to the Milwaukee Circle Masters one time. I think you were just a teenager. I was there. Your dad brought his 80H, what is it, 84
Yeah.
Sky Raider.
Hmm.
And then he did a presentation on monocoiling. That was really good. He knew his stuff.
Hey,
Is that Charlie Bauer?
yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Bauer.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh.
I met him at Brodax several years ago. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Hey,
No doubt.
Pete, here's a side view of my new twin I'm working on.
Ooh. Nice.
I like, oh, you got a little area in the front of the wing. Smart boy.
Those are shorter nacelles than the other one, so.
That is a sharp looking airplane.
I think there's good things happen there for Stunt, Bob. I'm sure of it,
I
actually.
know it. I love the way they fly.
Oh, you've already done it, but yeah, okay.
There's your new stunner, Bob.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
that thing's
cool.
just weird.
The routine,
Boomerang, yeah.
Boomerang, Husky, yeah.
I was wondering why nobody has ever done Rutan's little race plane they did, the Honda powered, what do they call that thing? I've forgotten.
Tsunami? No, you're talking about
No.
the twin.
No,
Something
Tsunami was a
easy?
Mustang, basically.
Because they died in it, I imagine is the reason.
Well, yeah.
Hmm.
Dadgummit, what was the name of that thing? I'll think of it in a minute.
Was that Honda powered or was that Toyota?
Yeah, it was
I thought it's
Honda.
Suzuki. I thought it's Suzuki.
No, it was
but yeah.
well, it may ended up Suzuki when it started. The first time I saw it, they were talking about it had two big. There it is.
Which one?
None of those.
No.
None of those.
Bob Whitney
It was a
built
race plane. They built it as a
Bob
race
Whitney
plane.
built an airplane of it, a model airplane, flew it in scale.
Yeah, what did Whitney? Oh, this one?
No,
No,
Not the
that's
long
Long
easy,
Easy.
huh?
That's what the guy at
Yeah,
St.
he's
Country
got some-
Roads died in.
There's some weird looking planes there.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
there's I love that one right there in the center. Says air show stuff as a Beechcraft
Starship, what that is.
Starship. When that thing would go, it used to come right over the house, and when it come over, it sounded like it was humming and whistling at the same time.
That's all vortex generators on it.
That was a wild sounding thing. You always knew when it
Yeah.
was there.
Hey, Pete, did you design the Tudor too?
My older brother did.
Pond Racer.
Pond Racer, that's it.
That's it.
That's
yeah.
it.
Oh,
That's
that's
it.
yeah, I've seen some half A versions of that.
I'd think it would be a good stunner. There you go. I think a semi-scale variant could be made to stunt, especially with electric motors. But it's just such a
We'll be watching for that from you, Phil.
Oh my gosh.
no.
That
I don't
forward
think you
swept,
need to worry about me doing it.
that forward
That's a Dennis
swept.
Animation Project.
Yeah, yeah, give it to Denny.
Having seen the real one, they did not fly it. It was brought in on a truck, and they put it together and showed it, and took it apart, put it back in the truck, and took it away.
I think
But
that
that was an absolutely awesome little
killed
airplane.
the
it killed
pilot.
people. It
Yeah,
killed
it did.
people. That airplane raced or tried to race. That look how little the stabilizer is. The stabilizer's huge, elevator's big, forward
Mm.
swept wing. Everything's going to get out of hand quick when you put G load on that bad boy.
Be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fun.
Bob Whitney's flew great.
It did.
Yeah,
Qualifying
It was
great.
like two 050s in it or something. The thing
Yeah,
was fast as hell.
051s or something.
Yeah, two 051s and it was fast as hell.
Engine quit, bellied it in, didn't work out good.
It'd have to be fast because it doesn't have much wing area.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Phil, we're still waiting to see that wax you're
It's
talking
called
about.
sex wax.
What
My
is
daughter
it?
went and got it.
Sex
It's called
wax?
sex wax. SEX. It's in a red can, and it's called sex wax.
Well,
Oh my God.
You can't
Got
have
to go to
that.
the red light district to get it.
I don't
Yeah.
know. No, actually, the guy came out at the car show, and it's one of those new polymer waxes, and it's supposed to be you're supposed to be able to wash the car with it without water. And I
Mr.
told him if he
Magoo,
I told him if he put it on my car, I'd hurt him because I knew my car was dusty. And
Mr.
I don't want my car
Zoggs.
scratched. That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life. But the stuff does work on a model airplane, and it is super, super shiny.
Oh,
But it does not last. It take you half an hour to put it on, and in dadgummit, camera, come on. In 3
I want
flights,
to
it's
fly
gone.
that.
It's for
Man, that's good.
surfboards.
Woo, look at that airplane.
It do
I
that
can't figure out
fast,
why I
doesn't
can't.
it?
Prodac. I don't know who that is. Get slide, but
I can't get my camera to come up.
That's a nice looking plane.
There we go. Put it back up just a minute, Bob. Please, sir.
Wait a minute, got the wrong thing.
I can't figure out why my camera wouldn't come up. That's never had that happen before.
I don't want
Got to
to.
film.
Well, I was talking to the guys at Project Healing Waters Wednesday, and we were talking, and they said somebody had photographic memory. I said, yeah, I've got a photographic memory. Just nobody ever loaded the darn film. My little brother had one. I mean, he could read a book and tell you page and chapter and, I mean, paragraph where it was on the page, what it said. But I have never had that, never been that lucky.
That would be a disease, I think.
There it is.
Oh, look at that.
Well, it was thank you. It was a problem because
Dang right.
he never forgot anything. If you did something for him, he never forgot it. If you did
Well,
something
something
against him,
bad
he never
happens
forgot
to
it.
you. You never can forget it.
Yeah.
So Bob,
Yeah,
was
that
that
was
this
a-
year's plane or last year's plane?
That was the 2015 airplane. That was the first competition twin I built. We had built a test bed twin before that. I'll show you a picture of that. We did it with a foam wing covered with carbon applied with thin tight bond. We had basswood cap spars in the wing with shear webs to prevent racking. And it flew really, really well. I'll have to show you a picture of that. Then we went and built I built that one, and then Buddy Weeder built one similar to it. Let me see if I can find the.
So you use the term racking. What does that mean?
Well, it's an engineering term. When you turn this off for a minute. When the airplane's in inside maneuvers, the top of the wing is in compression, the bottom's in tensile. And when you're in outside maneuvers, it's just the opposite. So the spars would have a tendency, if they weren't connected by shear webs, to move in opposition to each other, and the wing would try to clap hands. Would just try to,
Move.
When you put shear webs, they can't move in opposition to each other. It's called racking.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me see if I can find that other test bed twin. It really worked well. Matter of fact, it's still flying. I gave it to a friend of mine. He's still flying it. And built it. We built it ostensibly just to fly it for a week, and he ended up flying it for years. Still flying it.
So how many iterations do you have to go through before you get a plane really worked out?
First one worked pretty good. I mean, but we're still learning. I mean, the chances that we hit the optimal airplane right off the bat is like 1 in a million, but they all flew good. So I'm trying to find a good picture of that one. From my point of view, it flew well right off the board, the first one. So if we keep working with it, we're going to get better and better airplanes. Here's the picture of it. Hold on. And they are getting better. I mean, each one gets a little better. Let's see if I can hear that. There we go.
Well, there it is.
Is that the first one, Bob?
That was the very first one we flew.
That was the test bed, wasn't it?
That
So
was
you
the
really,
test
you
bed.
really
That
had
is
the,
That is the test bed. Yeah, it's still around.
so you really had the motors out there.
Yeah, well, I kind of used Gordon Delaney's stuff as a guideline, and also Bob Whiteley's LA Heat, thinking that we had to do this. But now we're finding out the closer we get the nacelles to the wing, the better the performance is. Although this flew very well, but had retractable landing gear and everything. 50 Pete, interesting fact, with the retractable landing gear, the first day out, we didn't retract the landing gear. And it had a 4S 4000 in it, running 2 power 10s with 10 5 props. And the first day we went back, we flew some patterns with the gear down, charged a battery, and we put 2,400 milliamps back into a 4000, which is not bad. And then we went out the next day and retracted the landing gear, charged the batteries that night, and we put 1,800 milliamps back in a 4000. It's 25% less power use with the landing gear up.
Pure drag.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a picture of it.
Round things are really draggy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
man.
And those are little wheels too.
Yeah, but when they're down, they're hanging right out there in the breeze.
That and that gear hold.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty decent flying airplane.
Look how straight it is on the lines.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't think Bob has built anything that wasn't decent flying.
Well, you'd be wrong there. I've had some turkeys. There you go.
Well, I think I would take any of your, what you would call dogs.
Yeah, well,
Kind of
there have been a
element.
few. There have been a few. Not too many, but like a 75 airplane with a dog.
Man, this Pathfinder's driving me crazy today.
I noticed your post on there, Paul, and maybe I can give you a little help on it. I wish Gordon was here because he could really probably help, but we'll let him finish this discussion and then maybe we can talk a little bit about it, okay?
Sure.
Bob, wasn't a 75 Genesis, wasn't that the one that you backed over?
No, that was the 76.
Oh, okay.
75 was, I mean, it took 6th at the Nats and it won a lot of local meets. I just didn't like it. It was just one of those airplanes that just, you know, I couldn't get I hate to say I couldn't get a handle on it, but it just never felt as good as some of the others.
It never helped you.
It never helped me.
Just never felt as comfortable with it.
There's airplanes that fly good, but you got to work it too hard. If they're helping you, life's easier.
Just got a lot of dust in the photo, but this was.
Yeah.
That was the airplane.
That's pretty.
That was the airplane.
Well, now
Let me guess what color it was. Copper and white.
All right, hold on. I've got a color picture of that airplane.
Oh, yeah.
One way to avoid making a cow.
Super Tiger 46.
Yeah, Richie Tower Tune Tiger 46. There it is. This is at Middlesex Field.
Oh, yeah.
Copper and white.
Yep.
What wing area is that, Bob?
720.
720. That's a good sized airplane.
Yeah, Billy Simons, he built an airplane called the Gemini, and we called it the Florsheim Special. This is a true story. And I asked him how he developed the airfoil, and he was like 6'7". You know, he was a really tall guy, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", something. He was really tall. And I asked him how he developed the airfoil, and he took a piece of plywood, threw it on the floor of his shop, put his Florsheim shoe on it, and sketched around it. He said, "That's how I designed the airfoil."
Bob
talked about
Sparky did that too.
We called it the Florsheim Special. And
like that.
Yeah, Sparky has
this
has a shoe airfoil.
This was actually the second one with a little more taper. The first one that he designed, I have the 74 airplane, which was basically what he had. So I give credit to Billy Simons for the for the numbers of what would people consider the Genesis 46. There it is. That one we called Clear Banana for obvious reasons. But that one had, actually I have a better picture that shows how little leading edge sweep it actually had. This was at Lake Charles, Louisiana. This is the second little Genesis, the 35, and the first big Genesis. And this
Wow,
Falcon actually
look at
had
that.
hair too. Wow.
Look at all that
They
hair.
had
And
that.
that is Lake Charles.
Who was it that had the plane? It looked like a Genesis with the fuselage upside down. I want to say it was Chris Lella,
Oh,
but
that
I'm
was
not sure.
Dave Reeves,
Okay.
an airplane called the Dazzler.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris
Was-
Lella's was Sunshine or something like
Who
that.
designed the Dove?
The Dove
That was
Dan
Dan
Powell.
Dan
Dan
Powell?
Powell's plane.
Dan Powell.
It reminds me of
Yeah.
that a little bit too.
Yeah.
What year did he do that? Do you remember?
No, like
72, 3?
something like
No,
that.
more like 6.
That
Take
late.
the picture for you. This is in the hangar. It's
That's
kind of-
Whiteley right there.
That's Whiteley. Yeah, that's Bob Whiteley and Andy Lee.
I don't know, Andy.
They're polishing the Sunshine.
Look at that fancy cowling on that front one. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Bob Whiteley.
That sex wax is for surfboards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's for, but it works great on cars too.
Yeah, that's what I found it. There it is.
Well,
Did
it's,
You find
Mr.
the red
Zoggs.
can? Yep, that's it.
Mr.
Mr.
Zoggs.
Zoggs Dream Cream Sex
it's-
Wax.
That's it.
it's to make your feet stick to the board. They use them on the boogie boards too.
Ah.
It ain't got anything to do with stunt.
Does that mean your airplane gets sticky when you put it on?
Yes.
It don't
Probably
stay on there
does.
long enough. No, this stuff don't. It don't get sticky. They put it on cars. It must not be exactly the same stuff.
Yeah.
This stuff was in a can, and it when it went on. They called it. I can't remember what they called
That's
that
the
stuff.
Sunshine.
Hey, Bob, you look
But
a
it-
little different there.
That's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Beth England. She was Miss Old Time Stunt at the very first Old Time Stunt contest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, how? I mean, is that a Genesis? It's just
Basically, it's a
Sunshine.
Genesis. Matter of fact, that was the wing I was going to use in the very first Genesis. For some reason, I decided to build another one, and Andy asked me if he could have that one. I said sure, and he built the Sunshine around it.
Do you remember a guy named Ken Nash, Bob?
Who?
Joplin, Missouri. Kent Nash. Or I think
Nash?
Nash. He had airplanes looked like that too, but they had gear mounted stuff. My brother-in-law's got one of them. His
Wow.
wife judged a lot around the country.
I don't remember him.
You don't remember him? Okay.
Bob,
Yeah.
did that have solid lead out?
Yeah, back in those days, we were using solid lead outs.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Until I had one break at 96 Nationals in a practice flight after the first day of competition. I was doing a vertical 8. I thought I hit a bird or something. I felt the lines jerk. And then I was going, as soon as I nailed down, the upline broke and it went to full down and it started doing little tiny loops and hit and
Oh
totaled
man.
it. And then less than a week later, I crashed the Bronze Dog Saturn from a broken push rod, and I had no airplanes to take with me, and I was supposed to leave for Sweden, and I couldn't go.
Oh my goodness.
So Billy had to go in my place.
Hmm.
And I had to go get him and drive him up from Ohio to Kennedy Airport, then pick him up and drive him back home. That was adding insult to injury.
Yeah, really. Hey, it looks
The
like
sick-
Roy finally made it. Roy,
Yeah,
you
the
were
sickening
you
part
having
of it
some
was-
trouble?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what
Okay.
it was. Settings on the camera, but been a bad couple of weeks.
Yeah, what's in the background today?
It's still the 376 or 576. Ring master.
576.
576.
Ready to sand it out, get ready for the top color.
All right. Good.
Howard's gonna go fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
If I get all
I'm
my
gonna take the dog out. I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, bye, Phil.
yeah, go get my dog.
You were asking before about that one that you thought was mine, Phil, an inverted Genesis or something. That's it.
Oh my.
That's a
That's
speed
ugly.
plane.
That's weird looking.
Yeah, well, he came to Winston-Salem with that thing, and I could not figure it out.
Pretty airplane.
It was a pretty airplane.
He did beautiful work.
I couldn't figure out why he put that muffler on it though. Why he didn't go with a good muffler. I mean, not a good muffler, a tongue muffler, something.
That was years ago. You know, this is
That
back.
served his purpose.
This is kind of back when everybody was doing that. You know.
Yeah.
Here's what I feel was his best airplane ever.
Yeah, you're one of
Oh yeah.
Whose is that?
That's Dave Rees.
Dave? I don't know that name.
Yeah. He crashed that airplane right after this photo was taken on a flight when he first got to the Nationals. And,
is that an F-100?
no, it's an F5.
T-38.
F5 Freedom Fighter.
Is it a
F5. Okay.
OS Max
He had a
35S?
T-38 too. Let's see,
He
T-38.
wouldn't have done very well with Navy judges anyway.
Oh, not with an Air Force plane.
Was it OS 35S engine?
Yep. I test flew this one. That was the Talon.
Oh yeah.
That was a kind of reflex airfoil foam wing for him, and that was a real good flying airplane. He wasn't much of a flyer, but after he crashed that airplane in Lake Charles, he kind of walked off down the end of the runway, and he was gone all day long. We were kind of worried about him because we thought he was kind of despondent. He came back at the end of the day, and he had a big smile on his face. And we said, well, where were you? And if you remember that Chanel B-47 tie-down pad, you can see the curve of the earth in it. And he went way down the end, and he came back. He said, they're flying a thing down there called peanut scale, rubber-powered airplanes or scale. He went on to become the top free flight scale flyer of all time.
How about that?
So losing that airplane was actually beneficial to him.
Scale's hard too.
He was a Grand National scale champ at the Nats and FAC Nats champ for many, many years, you know.
Who's that?
Dave Rees.
Oh.
So what
we got a couple of chats. Git Slide says, see y'all at Brodak.
It's Rick
Git
Campbell.
Slide guitar. It's Rick Campbell.
He's a good lad.
My buddy.
He's
We're
a
going to
good
Brodak
lad.
together.
Yeah.
So what's your airplane doing, Paul, that you don't like?
What's that?
What's your airplane doing that you don't like?
It'll do outside squares, I guess, as good as I can do them, but inside squares, the thing I go to hit that first corner and it just takes off to the right. I mean, it's just like turning too hard.
You're overturning.
Yeah. So
have you put sticks on the elevators and flaps and make sure everything's neutral?
Yeah, I think it's pretty well neutral. I put some pictures out on Stunt Hangar. I put the throw gauge on there, to see what my throw is. But I don't think it's the plane's a little tail heavy anyway. I mean, they build kind of tail heavy, but I mean it kind of balances out, when I put the battery on it. I don't know. It just takes off. I hit that first corner and it just takes off to the right. It just like.
You mean it wants to go away from you? To the right means go away.
It's like overturning. Yeah, and I know I probably don't need more control on it, and I'm thinking maybe I need to shorten my line spacing up, or I got a cast handle with 4-inch spacing.
You got to set the elevator neutral. Draw lines on the lead outs. Move each lead out a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch and make another line, and see if you got the same amount up and down for the same throw. To get you a head start on knowing where you're going, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let me back up a little bit because I did a lot of work on the controls on the Pathfinder. First off, did you drill a new hole a little closer to the pivot point of that bell crank? About between
You use
5/8 and
I
between
use a bell
5/8
crank. Go ahead.
you want a new hole between 5/8 and 7/8 of an inch from the pivot point of that bell crank. You need to slow it down a little bit more. That's a 4-inch bell crank, right?
Yeah, it's what came in the kit, and I just went in the, in this middle hole or
Okay.
I'm not on the outside hole. I can't remember if it had 3 holes in it or 2, but I think I'm in the
You
middle.
want to go to the one closest to the pivot point, the one furthest in.
Well, if it's built, it's too late for that.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
So
let's
then-
go back to something you said before that I think maybe a clue. You said it was built tail heavy.
Well, Pathfinders do build tail heavy.
All right, well, move the balance point forward.
Well, I've shoved the battery, as far forward as I can. I cut an inch off of it. Gordon was on here one night talking to him, and I think he said, or somebody said, cut an inch off the tail, before I built it. So I did that. I shortened it up. I mean, it's not extremely tail heavy. I mean,
Well, yeah, but the first thing you want to do, get some clay and stick a little nose on and see if it's tail heavy, that could be a problem.
But if it turns outside's nice and inside's tight, that's flap elevator, 99%.
That's that. But I mean, if he says it's tail heavy, let's get the airplane balanced so that at least it's, we're how far back from the leading edge is it balanced?
let me throw a battery in it.
Typically, the throws on the flaps and the elevators are 26 to 27 degrees on the flaps and 34 to 36 degrees on the elevators. But you want them centered. You want same amount in both directions.
That's right.
And
And
he
the flaps
might have
ought to be equal.
He
If it
might
turns
have-
one way good and one the other,
He's
that's
probably
either
got
the tail's in really, really crooked or the flaps and elevators off. That's
Yep.
about all it can be.
right.
You
He
can
might
hold that
need
up
to,
so we can look at the flaps and elevator neutraling and see what it looks like.
yeah, he might need to extend or shorten the push rod.
So where do you want me to go first? You want to see where it's at?
Yeah, let's see where it's balancing first, and then we'll look at the flap elevator neutraling. I hold it at the root.
Up here?
Put
Yeah,
your fingers underneath to pick it over your head.
So it's almost like right on the spar, and I got the battery as far forward as it'll go.
That's about where it should be.
It's
well,
right
it's where it should be for what? I mean, maybe for him it wants to be further forward.
Yeah, I would do like Bob said. I'd try some
Right.
clay up front.
Now let's look at the flap elevator neutraling. Hold it up so we can see a dead side view. Yeah. Okay. Now neutral your flap. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay.
All right. That's
Now lower the airplane down a little bit towards us. Yeah, a little more right there. All right. Looks like you have a little down elevator. But you
Does
might have a little up flap too. So hold it up so we can see a dead side view. Doesn't look extreme. Okay. Now neutral your flap. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay.
Who's that speaking? They're kind of muffled.
Lower the airplane down a little bit toward us. That's kind of a repeat thing somehow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little flap too. So it looks like you might have a little down elevator.
does
Somebody's got a window open.
Who's that speaking? They're kind of muffled.
Let me see. It might be me. That's kind of a repeat thing somehow.
Close all YouTube windows.
What's that?
Whoever's reverbing needs to close all the YouTube windows.
YouTube windows.
I agree with Bob. It looks like you might have a little bit of down elevator.
I'm going to go out and come back in.
You're all right now. It ain't him. I can't
Another
see
thing I would
anybody.
do, I would take out that rudder offset too.
Yeah, that's next on my list.
Like when I balance mine, Paul, I put my fingertips around the bottom of the fuselage.
Yep.
And hold it over my head. one each side, and get them about even. And you can hold it over your head and you can see where you are really nice. With the guitar,
Who's that?
a troublemaker.
That's with a Hammer guitar.
It's Rick
Gamer.
Campbell with his guitar.
Hammer, whatever.
Hummer? Paul, show a picture of your handle, man. That looked messed up.
That was who was reverbing.
Yep. Yep. It was Rick.
Well, typical guitar player likes reverb. Look at all the
Yeah.
up bias in it. That's
Look
not
at all the difference. Yes, exactly.
What's
Yep.
that?
The up's going to be
bias.
quicker because you got more throw on it. It's out further.
turn that nylon piece around.
Which one? This one?
Either one. Just get
Either
it the
one, so
same
that
as the
they're
other.
balanced. Yeah, turn it around.
See how the up's further up?
Yeah,
Well,
so
Got
that
more throw.
Well,
Got more throw.
okay. All right. I kind of slid it down, trying to, thinking maybe I needed to slow it down a little bit.
Just turn it around. Turn it over.
I don't know nothing about that handle.
It's like
But-
a Cas handle.
It's a Cas handle. Should I turn the other one around too and move
No.
it down?
No.
You
You
want
want
the
them like
lines
to be
clo-
opposite each
One
other.
at a time, please. You want the lines closer together or farther apart? Is it, or are you over controlling it?
On the up, he is.
Turn it around.
Oh,
Make it closer together. But make them the same from the center of the handle on each side.
amen.
All right.
If your airplane turns fine one way and overreacts the other, it's
What I'd like.
When you hold your handle out, did you hold it with any angle to the handle, or is it dead 90 degrees to the ground?
that's
I-
another problem.
Yeah, when I said neutral, I said it, dead 90 to the ground.
Okay,
That's what
good.
you want.
Good.
Good.
All right.
Listen to Joe.
Look how
All right.
thick that wing is.
Yeah.
Put it out in front of the camera. We can't see it.
All right. All right. I'm going to move this one back then so that they're the same.
That's right.
That's
Yep,
about right. Run with it.
4 inches be a good spot to start. But if you got too much elevator throw already,
Now, when you go out, make sure you got neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll reset neutral. Yeah, it was driving me crazy.
where you can see if your flaps and elevators goofed up really easy is a horizontal 8. The insides, if it's nice and easy and round, and you get going straight up, and then you give it a kiss it down to do the outside loop, and it's sliding. Say, oh crap, I'm sliding. You give it more and more, you end up trying to get your bottom, and you'll be late to the center, and you'll have to give it so much down that airplane actually go past 90 going straight up before you start turning again. The flaps are late in that situation.
Okay.
You
You
can
get
see it
really
sliding.
good advice.
Well, I'm at 4 1/4 on the
That's
line.
okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
I bet that handle is part of the problem because you had a lot more up.
Well,
Good catch, Rick.
Let us know what happens.
okay. I think the biggest problem is the guy holding the handle.
And double check that elevator flap neutraling. Make sure that's dead on the money.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I had, Dick Carvel's kind of been looking this thing over too.
Okay. He knows.
Yeah, Dick will find it.
Before I ever fly an airplane, I take pieces of wood, 1/8 wide, 1/8 thick or something, and clamp it on top and bottom of the elevator to maybe 2 of them to lock that elevator neutral front and back. Then you can take the same sticks of wood on the elevator on the flaps up and down and put them on there and see if they look like they're both flat the same. All that stuff, the truer it is, the better you're going to be, dude.
And get that rudder offset out of there too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's next on my to-do list. That's what Dick said today. He's like, take that out. I'm like, yes, sir.
That's what you got lead outs for.
I don't know. I just put them in there because I don't know if it was built straight or crooked or or what?
Stunt Hangar trimming services.
Yeah,
It's gotta fly good. It's got Gumby on it.
That
Yeah,
makes it all better.
yeah. I got some. I put some more tip weight. Dick said it was. I still need a little more tip weight, so I slammed a little on there today.
Well done.
Well, thanks, guys.
Well, don't thank us yet. You haven't flown it yet.
Yeah.
You might have to go a couple steps in this trimming process.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to see you have it so your belt crank is perfectly centered when your flaps are perfectly centered.
Yeah.
Get that set up, and then check to make sure that your elevator are perfectly centered when your flaps are perfectly centered.
Yep.
Oh, that's really, really hard to do.
Make sure the motor doesn't have any down thrust in it.
Well, it can have down thrust, but you don't want any up thrust.
Stunt ships are a lot like women. If you want them to work right, you got to keep fooling with them all the time.
Yep.
Getting that bell crank right, Howard's got a program for that. It ain't easy. Getting it in the right place, the right times, the same half inch of movement each way gets the same amount up and down.
It's not easy when the airplane's already built.
No, it's
Yeah.
impossible then.
Yeah.
Oh, the things we do to fly stunt.
Ain't kidding.
When are you going to get to the Nats, Rick and Bob? I heard you're coming to Fly Classics. What I hear.
I'm
No,
going
I'm
to
not
play
going to the
classic at the
Nats.
Nats. I don't think Rick's going to be there.
Oh, I
No.
thought Rick was going.
The Brodak.
Brodak. Oh, the
Yeah.
Brodak at the Nat. Oh, you're flying Brodak Classic. Oh,
Yeah.
well done.
I'm gonna
Well
do
done.
that. I can't. The Nats is too much time for just the Fly Classic, and
Gotcha.
I did not manage to get a new airplane done. I don't know how in 1992 I made 3. I had a job. Now I'm retired and I can't even finish one.
Yeah,
Join the club.
I've wondered that myself. Ever since I retired, I thought I had more time to do this. I can't get anything finished.
You got to
By the
stand
way,
up
do
and
you have
walk
any,
into the room.
Do we have any Bearcat updates or not?
Yeah, I got some Bearcat update here.
All right.
Yeah.
So, another good news, bad news.
Oh, no.
So I think when I left off Friday, I was working on the hatch on the rear end.
Yeah.
So I went and fitted the piece in there and put the inserts in it for the screws. And then I put the T-nuts into the frame there. And I got it all in there.
There you
So
go.
Well done.
I was really happy with this.
Yeah.
So that, okay, now I'm going to cut the stabilizer out of my other plane and put that in here,
Don't fit.
and I'll have some real progress. Except once I got it out and I looked at it and I give it a little bit of stress, it's cracked all the way through.
I see that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'm going to be building a new stabilizer.
Well, at least you can use the elevators.
What's that?
At least you should be able to use the elevators.
Yeah, I got elevators are fine, but I got to build a new stabilizer now.
Yeah.
If you sheeted
was-
that with epoxy and silk or fiberglass, wouldn't that put the strength of the balsa back in it?
I think it would. But you don't want to put all that effort in on
I
a
wouldn't want to
thing.
chance it.
Yeah. Because if
That's why I
what you
said.
think
That's why I said
wasn't-
maybe, because I said maybe.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at the structure now. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can reinforce this better.
Yeah.
I built the next one before I just rush off and do it. But anyway,
The spars, what
You're
you need.
sheeting that. You're sheeting that in 2 pieces.
what's that, Bob?
You sheet that in 2 pieces, left and right.
Yeah.
Have you
But there's-
thought about just sheeting it in one continuous piece? That's how we do the foam ones.
No, there's a
You don't have a center joint then.
solid piece of balsa under here. But the idiot that put this together didn't glue it well enough.
Hmm.
And that's this sheet separated from that block under there.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
they're
then I
supposed to
think-
stand. They're supposed to stand up to us falling on them.
Supposed to do what?
They're supposed to stand up to us falling on them.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, the stabilizer I thought I was going to use, I'm not going to use. So, and then I had to get the slider out of my other one because I don't have another slider. It's 1/8 inch.
It's a windshield horn.
And I don't know what happened to Oki Air. He go out of business?
Yeah, more or less.
I heard he sold it.
Yeah.
Well, who's got it?
I don't know that yet.
Because I'm kind
The
of,
horn. I have a bunch of Oki air horns.
yeah, Keith Trossel does too if I want to go beg for one. But
Okay.
I got this out. One thing I learned here, when I got this thing out, I had epoxy, on all over the place here because it was epoxied into the balsa. So it was really, really on there. And I did some Googling and I looked at a couple of YouTube videos. The one guy says soak it in acetone for a month.
Nah.
And I didn't like that idea. And another guy says use a heat gun and then scrape it off.
Yep.
And that's what I did. I took a heat gun.
Brilliant.
And I heated it real good. And it wasn't hot enough to mess with the solder that's in the bearing here. But it was hot enough it would cause the epoxy to soften up and I could just take a knife and scrape it off.
Well done.
Cool.
So
Cool.
I was pleased by that
Oh, yeah.
after my earlier setback. But anyway, today I went flying.
Good show.
Took my old P-47 out that I haven't flown for 10 or 15 years. And went up to the school and the grass wasn't too long. And nobody was using the field, so I got it and
There,
put up a
there's
few
another
flights.
way. There's another way to hold that horn bearings to the trailing edge of the stabilizer. You know.
What's that, Bob?
Well, I'll show you when you're done sharing.
Go ahead. I'm done. Anyway, you're going to be out of Bearcat updates now because I'm going to be
Oh, look at that. I remember that clip.
going on a cruise and then coming back for 10 days and then going to Ohio and then to the Nats and then to Ohio. And then I won't be back here and probably till like the 3rd week of July. So progress is going to be pretty slow here for the next couple of months.
Is that
Anyway.
made out of plywood, Bob?
They're made out of 1/16 ply. Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
And that's light ply, isn't it, Bob?
No, that's just regular birch ply.
Regular birch ply. That should hold it really well.
It does.
Don't weigh nothing.
Yeah, I have another picture of it here.
Mark, do you know who Brent Williams is?
Yeah.
He makes some horns and that has where the rod comes down and it's got the adjustable hole in it. It goes around it like this to keep it from spreading. They're really nice. I bought 4 of them and they're really nice. You need
Was
to
that the
get in
Brent
touch with
Williams
him.
horn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I didn't know
They're
he
really
was. I
nice.
didn't know he was selling. I knew he was talking about possibly.
No, he's
doing it.
selling them.
Okay.
He's selling that and his horn and his handles and I
and
got
he's got
4.
the Gumby horn too.
Well, it turns out now
Yeah.
I don't need it because I got the one out of my old plane. But
Well, if you
Just
need
send me
one,
an email.
he's got some really nice ones. I've got 4 of them and I intend to buy 4 more because
so are you going to explain
These-
that, Bob? Show that picture again?
But that picture I just had up there.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
that'd be nice to flaps because it would also help keep the side of the fuselage from cracking.
Correct.
There you go. It's just little plywood pieces that grab the horn bearing, the bushings, and glue up over the top and bottom of the stabilizer.
All we got is a black screen.
Oh, sorry about that.
This Robin Hunt has started screen sharing.
I'm not. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can redo this. that better? No?
Black
No.
screen.
Same thing, black screen.
I think you
Up
have
there
to
a minute
go
ago.
back. I think you have to go back and re-click on the one you want.
All right, let me just do that again. Hold on.
See, Bob, this is why I drink.
Boy, Howard just missed
That's the
those
difference. I don't
intersections.
need an excuse.
You need to stop sharing, Bob.
I'm
And
trying, Mark.
At least it's not that damn whiskey that Joe was
There you
making
go.
me
Now
drink.
open it up in your computer.
Right.
Oh, that's good
There
stuff.
you go.
There we go.
There it
Okay.
is.
There it is.
Oh, mercy.
Oh, look at that. That's one of the double horns.
Very
So
simple to
is
make.
do what?
They're very simple to make. They're
Yeah.
light, and they glow up against the side of the fuselage, onto the horn bushing, and up over the top. It's never going to move.
What kind of plywood is this?
Just 1/16 inch burst ply.
1/16. Okay.
Just another way of doing it.
Cool.
Hey, Bob, you got that picture of Miss Old Time Stunt?
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, did you see that?
What's that?
Well, show it, Bob.
Hold on a second. Let me get back to it here.
Remember we went down to the 20th
I want to know what's in
anniversary?
Joe's mug.
When we went down
Drink
to
some coffee.
New Jersey for the 20th anniversary of the Old Time Stunt Contest.
Yeah, I won that. I won the first one, I won the 20th, and I won the 25th. There
Well, she
is.
came back for the 20th.
Yeah.
She didn't look
She's
that
been around
good.
quite a bit, actually. She hangs around a little bit.
She didn't look that good at the 20th.
Well, this one, she was like,
Play nice. Come on.
she's a nice girl. She was a real friendly person.
Not that I look that good now, but
Huh.
I look better than I ever looked in my life.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Good old days.
Yeah.
I had the airplane I flew at the very first one was this
The
airplane.
Mustang.
It's the one I won the very first old time stunt contest with.
Yep.
That's showing?
Is that
Yeah.
Sterling Mustang?
Yeah, it is.
That's a
Vico
Vico
Mustang.
Mustang.
Vico. Okay, Vico.
That's cool.
No adjustable lead outs. How did it ever fly?
Actually, didn't fly bad. It did real nice rounds. It was
I'm just teasing because nowadays you got to have adjustable lead outs and all kind of tricks
Well,
to make them fly.
this
Look
was
how far slanted forward that
1970, man.
flap hinge line is.
That was
They were
19
adjustables. You just had to adjust it with a knife.
That's right.
Yeah.
Done that.
it flew pretty good, actually.
Forward hinge line that makes the tail moment longer right off the bat. All that's good stuff.
Well,
Look at that.
it also moves the center of pressure less far aft on the wing when you deploy the flaps, which
That's correct.
cuts down the
Average.
well, it cuts down the stick pressure and wind.
It looks like that. Is that a top flight prop?
Probably.
I
It was,
like
an airplane.
such stuff as that.
It was actually a pretty good airplane. Another picture of it.
Well, guys, I'm going to take off. Steve's going to be your host. 50.
See you, Spark.
Take care, Sparky.
All right, Spark.
So,
See you
Hey,
Saturday.
Sparky, you gonna be here Friday night?
I'm trying.
You can see
Yep.
how dinky that thing was.
Yeah, we're gonna hook up his trailer on Wednesday, and he's gonna drive out on Thursday.
Well,
Hey, Bob.
I got your flaps done, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Bob.
You
I
ready
got
to
to
go?
stop at Danny's and stop at John's, but I'll be there Friday night. It's only 3
Friday
hours.
night. All right.
Dayton.
Bob, you
All right.
got pictures of that little Pete or whatever it was you
Whiskey
flew
Pete?
over?
Yeah, I got a picture of
Steve, make sure you shut the YouTube off
that. It may take me a minute to find it.
on your way out.
How do I do that?
You just like you did it last time because it shut off.
Oh, good. So I just end the stream
End meeting for all.
and it shuts down the YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys. Good night. We'll see you
Be
later.
good,
See you,
Sparky.
Robert.
Nice, Sparky.
Take care, Sparky.
Good night, Bob.
Good night.
Oh, does anybody know where I can get some 1/8 square by 34-inch spruce?
How much square? How square?
1/8.
Square?
Frisky
Oh,
Pete.
it's a frisky
I
Pete.
love that little airplane. That sucker flew old time pattern beautifully.
I took that out of a box on the airliner and I sprayed it with Imron just before I left. And I could swear in the airplane I could smell the Imron gassing off it. I thought I was going to get in trouble.
That thing went through the pattern so fast.
It wasn't all that fast. I mean, it was quick. I mean, it's probably about
4.6.
Probably not as fast as oh shoot, can't think of his name.
It was
4.6.
loud. It was loud, and it glided like a set of keys.
Madman Yates, you thinking of?
No, it's he's got a spun cowl on his
Oh, the galloping comedian. That's Danny Banjock.
galloping comedian.
Yeah, Banjock.
He flies at
Banjo.
4.6. He flies at 4.6 a lot, I think.
Oh man, he flies fast.
Yeah.
Run that fox hard. It's got a skinny wing.
Bob was flying so fast. We were all fighting the wind, and Bob didn't even know the wind was blowing.
Yeah, that airplane was actually pretty good airplane.
Speed covers up a lot of ills.
It sure does.
Oh yeah.
This is the original of that airplane you're talking about. The very first one.
That's a Galba comedian right there. Red Reinhardt.
That's
y'all.
Red.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's great looking.
That's a weird airplane to build.
Yeah.
It is.
There's a guy named
Got a
Ray
kitten
Zarachek.
upstairs.
A guy named Ray Zarachek. He's dead now. He was in Circle Burners. He used to build these things exclusively, and he built beautiful airplanes.
Tom Niebuhr built one of those too.
Who did?
Tom Niebuhr.
Tommy Niebuhr. Yes, he did.
Joe did.
Did he fly that at the very first old time stunt contest?
He had it at the old time, the 20th when Rick and I were
Yeah, I
there.
think this is another picture of it.
That was a good day.
Joe, did Mike Donovan have one of those?
He had an orange one.
Now this one was orange.
I had a
Did
blue
Jim
one.
Lee have one?
No, I had a blue one, and I gave mine to Marvin, and Marvin flew it till he killed it.
Oh my. What's weird about it?
The spar goes through the middle of fuselage before you put the top and bottom on, and
Oh,
you
kind of
build
like an
it's
I-beam?
exactly like an I-beam, in my opinion.
His construction. Here's another one of his. His construction. This is the original old Diablo. His construction was very much like a guy named Walton Hughes, who did an airplane called the Guided Whistle.
Yeah.
Red was a big fan of his, and he built his airplanes very similar to Walton Hughes. That was taken in our
I
driveway.
always loved the way it flies, but I could never get over the name, and so I never built one. But they do fly very well.
I'm not flying the devil.
Yeah, well, that's me.
And
That's
then
me, and I just
another thing
it's a
people don't
beautiful
realize
plane,
is
though.
that stunt wing he had was the black stunt wing. It was published. Actually, here's a picture of it. But this was not the original look of the airplane. That's
I got one of those out in the garage covered in silk, ready for paint.
That's the original one right there. But that's not how it looked originally. Originally, it had a shorter nose, and it was called Mr. Completely. And here it is.
You can't get enough tank in the silly thing.
Let's see if I can find back. How do I get to zoom again? Where am I? I'm lost again. Stop share. All right, here we go.
Man had some hair, I'll tell you that. Oh, that's pretty.
That's just the way mine.
That's what it looked like originally. If you look on the top of the cowl, it says Mr. Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had to extend the nose and put a canopy on it and painted it black. But that's how it looked when he first built it. It was green silk with black trim.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Balanced elevator.
Yeah, it's got to be. It would snatch on you probably.
Yeah, Red was something. You're kind of like a big brother to me. He worked for my dad for a number of years, so I got to see him every day.
That's what happened to you.
It's no wonder Bob came out being such a good modeler, because my gosh, he was around the best.
Yeah, I was
You
about six.
got
I was about
that
6 years old before I realized that not everybody in the whole world flew model airplanes.
Yeah.
Larry Scaringi, Red Reinhardt, Bob Tucker, Walton Hughes. I mean, all great modelers. You know.
For sure.
Yeah, and then you had a contest every weekend,
Yeah,
sometimes two.
exactly.
Those are the days.
So,
Yeah.
when did Red pass away?
1970,
Oh, in the 70s. Okay.
1975. He was in a very, very bad car crash, and
Oh my.
he lost use of his limbs. He got paralyzed. And real sad.
Really
Oh
sad.
man.
Last time I saw him was on my honeymoon. We stopped by his house, and he was in a wheelchair, and he was going from being paraplegic to quadriplegic.
Oh my goodness.
Who's
Good
that?
gracious.
Who's that?
Red Reinhardt,
Oh,
very talented guy.
Was the guy that built the Colossus, did he get a car fell on him or
Jim Tichy.
I think
Tiki.
he died of cancer.
Tiki.
No, that's not the guy I'm talking about. Who designed the Colossus?
Jim
Jim
Ticky.
Tichy.
Tiki.
Tiki.
Jim Tiki. What's another I-beamer back in the day that was
Aries.
Aries?
Are you talking about the guy
Atom?
that the,
What about
that the
the Atom?
Corvair fell on?
Yeah, the car fell on him. Who was that?
Yeah, who went home to work, left the Nationals, went home, and was working on his autocross car, which was a Corvair, and the jack
Fell off
fell
the
and
jacks.
it fell on him.
Who was that?
I don't remember his
Continental
name.
guy.
I
Was it
thought
the
he worked
Continental
on.
guy?
I thought he flew a Nobler. I don't know. Can't think of his name. I know he was a good friend
built
of
the
Tom
Continental?
Dixon's.
Who
Well,
built
Tom
the
Warden.
Continental?
Tom
Tom
Warden.
Warden.
Tom Warden,
Yeah.
who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Tom Warden.
Is that how he died? I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I said a Corvair fell on him. They
Our-
found him
our,
pinned up to
um,
the front of a Corvair.
Our landlord at our RC field and my control line field, 2 weeks ago, he was working under a very big, heavy duty monster zero turn mower, and he put it up on straps. He got underneath it, the straps broke, it fell on him and hit his head, it crushed his head, it took out one of his eyes, and he just died yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my
Wow.
How
Wow.
gruesome is that?
Nicer guy you would never want to meet. He was just the sweetest guy.
That's the reason I take my zero turn to the shop and let them fix it.
Yeah, well, this was a monster. He owns a farm. We're on his farm. He rents
Oh,
us a spot, and
The strap wasn't good enough.
strap wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
You guys ever see my flying field?
That's a shame.
See if I can show you my flying field.
Howard's going to go fly again. Show us how, Howard.
Well,
Howard, let's clean up those horizontal lates.
yeah, I was hoping I didn't see the intersection there. It was pretty.
Oh, we watched it. Yeah, we all watched it.
I'm sorry. I'll turn off the video next time.
No, don't turn it off.
The
I'm
moon
not commenting.
at,
I didn't see
moon's
it.
at 50 degrees. The only problem is it's to the left of the wind. So I kind of fly askew to use it as a reference.
Hmm.
Huh.
Wow.
You're doing something productive. We're sitting in our chair having coffee or wine.
Mhm.
Back in the day when I was like 18, I was really spry, and I was under my Studebaker putting a new transmission in, and that thing fell off the jack. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how I did it, but I got out from underneath that and was standing alongside that car when it hit the ground.
Wow.
I had an experience like that. Yeah, I was working on the brakes and on a van, and it just slowly went forward. I thought, I'm glad I'm not under that thing.
Yeah,
It did a little damage, but not to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
See if we can make this work. I don't know if I can make this work or not. Give me a minute here. I guess it's not going to work. It's a video, but it ain't going on.
It's just a white screen.
Oh, hey, things are coming up.
Huh?
It's looking like it's trying to do it, Bob.
There we are.
There
There it
you
is.
There
go.
we go. Oh, it
Oops.
tried.
Coming and going.
Hit the little triangle.
Pretty field.
Look at that.
That's my field there.
He's flying on solids too,
Sure is.
in the grass.
Wow.
That's a disaster. Nobody's going to walk on his lines, evidently.
That twin
Well, you
really
got that
turns.
balanced pretty well, Bob.
Bob, you're flying footballs.
I don't think
How
so.
can you see that from where you're sitting? You couldn't see the shape of that maneuver if you tried.
You were flying to a point,
Okay.
not constant ground.
Well, from my perspective, it was.
I think the tip weight needed a half a BB more.
Half a BB.
Half a BB more. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Start out with 3/4 of BB.
Well, this is a,
I
this is a
think
rough,
y'all
this is a
all
rough
That
crowd.
boy, that boy knows what he's doing. Just leave
That's a
him
rough
alone.
crowd.
Yeah.
Just leave him alone. He knows what he's doing.
Rough crowd.
The only thing,
I'd like to
Josh,
know half of what he's forgot.
Mhm.
yeah.
Let's see, where's that other one? Double check twin.
If
Here
you
you
get
go.
a chance
Another.
to take a ride on a good airplane, take it. You might be surprised how good they are.
True story.
Yeah, I got another one here. This is
I
that
had a
little
fella-
twin.
I had a fella ask me to fly his model out at the park, and I went ahead and I was feeling pretty good that day, so I went ahead and flew it. I did not know whose airplane it had been. I thought it was his, and it turned out it had belonged to oh God, now I forgot his name. School teacher from Florida.
That's that little twin.
That's a
Oh,
good looking
cool.
airplane. It's probably Gene Martin.
Gene Martin.
Yep.
And man, you talk about something that flew well. Good gracious. I was ready to throw my stuff away.
Good airplanes,
Right.
really nice, and they help you. When they help you, that's a good way of putting it.
That
Helping you.
Yeah, when they help
that
you.
was a nice flying airplane, Bob.
That is a great flying airplane. Unfortunately, it's not mine anymore. My son globbed onto it.
Part of his inheritance, you know.
I'm building another
Part
one.
of it.
I have
Bob wants to build another.
I have 5 twins started. 5.
I need to come up.
And I think he's
I need
going
to
to get
come up and get me
all.
an Airbnb about a
So
2
why
block
don't you
of
tell
your
us
house.
what you really think about twins, you know?
I think he's going to get all the wood, right?
Yeah, that's his inheritance is the wood.
That's his inheritance. Yeah.
Kid.
He gets the house, and he and Brian get the house, but he wants all the wood.
What did Howard say?
Bring Robbie to the nest.
I'd love to, but he's working. Maybe he can get a day off. Now, what day is appearance point? That's on Sunday or Monday?
Monday at 3.
All right, what day is classic?
Monday at 8.
So classic and appearance
I
point
better
on
look and be sure. But
the same day?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yep, same day.
Can we get done
Classic
with
and appearance.
before? 'Cause I have to be
Yeah.
over to-
Okay.
What
We
they
had
did
to
last
leave
year,
classic. We had to
Classic.
leave classic. and
Classic
run up
is
to-
Monday, and the appearance is at 3
3.
on Monday.
Oh,
So you got some time.
What they did last year, they flew all the classics, and then the top 10 flew a second round to see who wins.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
And then we raced up to the building for the appearance judging.
wow.
Yeah, we're
Well, one
we're-
thing I find out they can't start without me. So
yeah, we're compressed into one less day because we don't have Saturday.
Oh boy.
No Saturday this year?
No Saturday.
Hey Joe,
Yes, sir.
here's the airplane I'm gonna fly.
What day is top 5 day?
Friday.
Friday?
No, Thursday.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday's top 5. I'm going to fly my classic too.
That's my new caprice.
Those are good airplanes. I
Yeah.
remember the first time, I can tell you exactly where I met Bobby Hunt, at the hotel, and we was walking in, and I knew who he was because I'd seen pictures of him. He's carrying his airplane. I said, "Oh, that's a beautiful airplane. I'm Joe Gilbert, Bob Hunt," and he handed me his airplane. And I think he'll tell you, I said, "You're a cheater," is what I told him right there. You're a cheater.
I was a lighter.
34 ounces, maybe. What did it weigh? Do you remember?
I was probably closer to 40, but it was still like right. But it was a light airplane.
I said, "You're a cheater."
That was a good wind airplane. That thing went through wind like almost nothing I ever owned.
Seemed like a lot of the classics do. Of
Oh,
course,
nice.
overpowered them too. The Aero Tiger makes a classic airplane come to attention, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Of course, you're flying
This electric one flies even better.
Yeah, there you go.
Got a bigger prop. I got 11-inch prop on it.
Wow.
That's a lot
Yeah,
of prop. For that little
but-
airplane.
That's a lot of prop for a little tail, but I got 11 on mine too.
But is electric in the spirit of the event?
The way I look at it is an Aero Tiger wasn't around then either.
That's exactly right.
No, exactly.
You know, so
Run what you brung, man.
the name of the airplane, the name of the event is Precision Aerobatics, not Precision Glow Aerobatics or Precision Electric. And technically, there were electric powered airplanes back in the 40s.
Yep.
Hmm.
So
If you're gonna do it like the Brits have got, you gotta have this particular engine, this particular prop, these kind of wheels.
That's why there's nobody flying.
exactly.
Right.
You start constraining it to that kind of stuff, you're not going to get anybody flying.
If you put a
That's
Fox
right.
35 in your Caprice or an Aero Tiger of that electric system, in my opinion, that Fox will cost you 25 points.
Yeah.
You think that's fair?
Yeah. No,
I think it will. They're that much. They just don't have the giddy up.
yeah. No, not even close. Well, you know, the original Caprice had a Fox 35 in it. It flew okay. But
They
when
do. They'll
But
fly
when we
fine.
put the Max 35 in it, the OS 35 with the Tiger rod, then it really performed.
Yeah.
Then it got better
And then
with the
when-
Aero Tiger yet.
And then the second one with the Aero Tiger, that was just, you know,
Catch me out. I agree.
unbelievable.
See, I can't fly fuel anymore. I don't know what it is, but it makes my eyes water so bad, like somebody's got an onion in my face.
You got to get you some goggles.
Well, no, I fly electric now.
I like having fuel guys around. They make the field smell right. It's
Don't get me wrong,
nostalgic, man.
I like the smell of it, but my eyes just can't take the burn anymore. I mean, I'm literally just crying.
Huh? That's interesting.
Wow.
It must be calm where you fly or something.
Well, sometimes it is. I mean, you know, if the exhaust is just hanging in the air. I mean, I've still got a bislav that's electric, and then I got that Sea Hurricane, or I mean a bislav that's gas or nitro, and that's Sea Hurricane. But last time I flew that bislav, man, my eyes just draining. But I think it's just, you know, just my right eye where I had an injury to it. But it just, man, it just drains.
Mm.
I don't know. We was talking about that tail moments on the classics. When Koba was here and having my shoulder surgeries and couldn't get out of the house, I brought in almost every airplane out of the garage and put it in the house. I measured flaps and elevators and wings and ratios and balances. And these are all airplanes that I've flown a lot and won with. And I thought it was interesting. If I had an 18% tail, I'd have the root cord about 18% balance. If I had a 20%, it'd be 20. And I was telling Joe Bowman that, and he said, "Well, Joe, everybody knows that." I said, "Well, nobody told me that."
Well, Ted Fancher wrote about that in his post.
I didn't know Ted Fancher wrote articles like that.
Yeah,
Except for a ringmaster. Ringmaster doesn't count.
Well, his rule of thumbs was one of it. Percentage
think it's
have an elevator.
percentage.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people do it at mid-cord. I just talk about it at the root because everybody can measure root easy.
Yeah.
That's your
But you
ringmaster,
can
Joe.
figure the mean aerodynamic close just by taking half span of the
Yeah.
wing. You know,
It's hard to
Mounts your
balance it.
ringmaster.
Huh? My little
How do you
one's
balance your ringmaster?
My little one's balanced right on the back side of the spar. The little one,
That was the second
Mine
one.
is.
3/4 inch back. That's the one that was at Tucson, I think.
Yeah, and like about 11 times.
You won it 11 of those 11 times.
I won 7 altogether. I won 5 with this airplane and missed winning a 6th one in a row by half a point.
Yeah.
It was a good airplane. And I took about, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds with it or something to Wearwich. It was a good airplane.
Fun days. Fun days.
Fun days.
Was that your bronze dog?
No. Bronze
That
dog.
one lived at Tucson for a while, didn't it, Robert? Bob?
Yeah, it used to winter in
It
Arizona.
used to winter there. That's what I thought.
Yeah. The Saturn was the bronze dog.
Ah, okay. I like that Saturn.
Let's
The
see.
one you had at the
I think-
95.
I still say the prettiest, to my mind, the prettiest one Bob has had was the red, white, and blue Saturn. I loved that airplane. The pilot in it was so cool, and the color scheme stood out in the air so much. It was just, that's it. That thing was just gorgeous.
Short-lived.
Yeah, it was short-lived, unfortunately, but beautiful.
Lead out broke.
Hmm.
Wait a minute. What am I going to do here? Get rid of that. Go back to the other one was the bronze dog was this one.
Yeah, that's the one you
Wow.
had at the 95
That
Nats.
was well
In
flown.
Czechoslovakia.
You got
That
some
one was well
shots
flown.
of Robbie's Europas. Those were hot looking.
Yeah. And basically, everybody thought the Europa was just a miniature Saturn. It was the other way around. Europa came first.
Yeah, I was there
Ah.
when Europa came out.
Yeah. You
I
were
thought
right
that
up in Coxsackie, right?
I think I first saw it at the Chicopee Nats, but
Okay.
That was
Okay.
just
Yeah,
one.
he was at the Chicopee Nats with that. That's
that
right.
was just one seriously bad looking airplane.
Yeah.
It was a good airplane.
I have a photograph of Mark and I at the Circle Burners, but I can't figure out how to share it.
I got it here, Rick. You want?
Oh, good. You embarrass us, not me. That way it's on you.
All right, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, we were young. Once.
Yes, we were.
Once upon a time. Yep.
There we
Oh
go.
my goodness, looky there.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
That stupid hat.
We
It's
had
all
fun.
marvelous. It's absolutely marvelous. A twister.
Nope.
We had-
Dick
No.
Mathis Excalibur. I won
Excalibur.
classic.
Okay. Okay.
That Excalibur is a good
Look at
flying
that
airplane.
daggum-
Yes, it is.
Look at that daggum Thunderbird. Mark's Thunderbird is that old?
That's beautiful.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
No, this was the first one I built.
Oh,
How did
okay.
that Excalibur fly in comparison to the Thunderbird?
Well, I never flew Mark's Thunderbird, so I don't know.
Now,
Okay.
what trophies are those, Mark?
I don't know. I think I got a third or something. I can't remember.
I won first in Expert Classic, and that's the John DeTavio Trophy, which I understand is either retired or lost. Come to think of it, it's like me, retired and lost. And I have a video of that contest, which includes the first time Lampione showed up with
Yeah.
his United and started flying again, and everyone jumped on him, and they cleaned the tank out and they put in new fuel tubing and everything, and they got him flying
He was
that
my
day. That's
control
what brought him
lines.
back. And the video's on a VHS cassette, and it's messed up, and I've tried everything I can. I've moved the reels to a new shell. I cannot get it to play. And I can't find anyone else who has a copy of the damn thing.
Wow.
I wish, because there's some of my flights on there, and most importantly, loads of footage of Lampione when he stepped back into it. And
Isn't it one of Wendy's?
Well, Wendy definitely shot the video, but
I mean, there's about 100 Wendy's videos floating around.
dude, I have
I have searched circle burners. I've searched John DeTavio. I've searched Lampione, and I have come up empty. There you go. There's
There it
the
is.
plane.
Hey,
Check
Rick,
that.
have you tried taking that tape to I think Costco used to have a service where they would copy that stuff off.
If I could get it to play, I can't even get it to play. I've even tried multiple VCRs. Yes, I still
Break
have
it down when you
VCR.
come next week. I got a guy that can fix that.
Send it
You
to
got
the
a guy?
FBI. They'll take care of it.
You got a guy?
Got a guy who can fix that.
Right.
All
I
right,
know this guy there.
that'd be hip, you know.
Luigi. His name's Luigi.
Luigi.
Yeah.
His name
He's
is
got a
John.
guy. Yeah.
His name is
usually Vinny.
His name is John Kasmerick, and he's really good at that stuff. That's the one. That's the other one.
All right, there's the stuff. Check out that scallop paint job. That is the poo, man.
That looks
Looks
like
a
the
lot
one that
like
was
Billy's.
on Bobby or
Like
Billy's
Billy
plane.
and
know.
Billy and
That
Les
was Lubbock,
Smearing
Texas.
airplane.
That was Lubbock, Texas in '94.
In case anybody
What's with
doesn't
the
know
motor
it,
coming out the side of the thing?
that is what a stunt ship is supposed to look like. I'm lost in the 1960s.
I love it.
That's what it should look like. That's the
There
stuff.
is really pretty.
It's got a pretty good sized tail on it, y'all, too. See that?
And basically, it's basically a Genesis 35. That's what it is.
Did it have? So was
Oh,
it
Howard's
like a
getting after it.
cylinder? I mean, was the engine hanging out the side?
What's that?
Was the engine hanging out the side?
Yeah,
You know,
we had we retrofitted. We originally had Weber 32s with reduced blowdown in them, and then we retrofitted both airplanes with the guy up in Ron Peters ABC pistons and liners in a HP 40 on a pipe, and that was the cat's meow. I mean, that just really worked good. They were outstanding airplanes, you know.
That must have had insane amounts of power.
Here comes an hour.
It was like crazy good, because it wasn't a real big airplane, you know.
Oh, look at that, man. That's the stuff right there.
It was a good airplane.
I should steal that paint job for my airplane if I ever get the damn thing done.
Yeah, it was a good airplane.
Leave that up a second, Bob.
Huh?
Leave that up a second.
What?
I'm
That?
having a god awful time getting the camera to work tonight. Put that back up again, please.
Hold on. That one?
Yeah, the one you just showed. I've still got you.
I have to reload it. Hold on a second. I don't know what I did. Here's a good picture of that, though.
Overhead 8.
Yeah, that's a good picture, but it's black and white.
That's Billy Warridge, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's Billy.
That's at the Cleveland Field. That's the fence. That's the fence behind there that Jimmy Cassell kept trying to knock down with his airplane.
Oh,
Was he
Lord.
successful?
No. What he tried. The other picture.
Over and over again, from what I hear.
What's that?
Over and over again, from what I hear.
Oh yeah. He had a lot of tenacity.
What was the score? Fence 3, Casal 0?
Yeah, it's pretty much. That's the one you wanted?
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I kept thinking there was a plane that was a small Saturn, and I did not remember that it was the Europa.
No, the Saturn is a big Europa.
Well, you know, it's either way. The Europa came first. I realize that, but
Yep, it did.
Now I know where Alan got the rudder and
you look over.
staff for his legacy. Yeah.
Yeah. Look
He
over in
had
the
to be
corner, you'll
that
see the
shape.
bronze dog.
That was a good airplane. It was a real good airplane. And the original ones had canted motors. Let's see, no, this has the side motor. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find one with the canted motor in it.
Who has those now?
Here's the one with the canted motor. Hold on. This was in 93 Nationals, I believe.
Wasn't that to set the pipe on the center line?
Yeah, we had special headers my dad made. If you notice on the side of the airplane, I don't know if you can see it or not, it says team, it says UL. There's a little circle that says UL. It's hard to see there. That stood for my dad. unfair advantage. Oh, UA, I mean, it's an unfair advantage. Because even at 2 o'clock in the morning, if we needed a special part, we just walk across the backyard to his machine shop and get him up, and he'd make it for us.
Ah,
So, that was,
What's the one in front?
a Saturn.
that's the no, that's
Looks
the
looks
lexicon. That's
fancy airplane to me.
the lexicon.
Oh, okay.
Was that a
One I made
fancy
in
airplane or one of yours?
made the 94, no, 92 team flying that airplane. That's one of mine. See if I can find a picture of that.
That's the one Werwich fussed about. He showed up at the team trials and had no flights on the thing.
Yep.
Probably had a bunch, but not enough.
He made the team.
Yeah.
That was a good flying airplane. I don't know if I have a picture of it or not here. Give me a minute. It was a good airplane. It was too light though. It was just built too light, and it got in the rain up in 92 at Chicopee, and it screwed it up. It started to pucker and a lot of problems with it. Can't find any pictures of that. I got pictures someplace.
What? Oh, okay.
I'll
All
keep
right. You're going to get in.
We headed for you the sooner I got them out.
I don't know if I can find a picture of
What
that.
are you going to do with this dog?
Oh well. Mm-hmm. I can't find a picture of it. It's not a problem. No big deal.
I'm gonna call it night, so I'll see you guys later.
Be good, guy.
Adios, Mark.
You have one of that airplane or something.
What do you think, Howard?
It's kind of blustery here. The wind was blowing over the shop, and that makes it pretty turbulent.
More rougher.
More rougher, yeah.
Put 2 foot shorter lines on it and carry on.
I don't have any.
10 foot shorter?
2 foot.
Oh, 2 foot. I thought you said 10 foot shorter.
No, 2 foot shorter.
Put shorter lines on it and fly it over there where there's room.
That's exactly right. Fly it upwind if you have to.
Other side of the house.
Yeah, that's why it might fit on the other side of the house if I put shorter lines on it.
Shorter lines can help things. You go a little faster, but just get over it.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
At Brodax, if you plan on flying on a long line at Brodax, you can get bit too, boy.
Oh, yeah. Howard, is that all yours? You get to mow all that every week?
Yeah. Well, the circle, I mow the circle every week and around the house, but the outback I mow every couple, 3 weeks, I guess.
Gracious. That is a big yard, sir.
Well, it's a funny lens, probably. It makes it look good.
It's nice, though. I'd love to have it. Love to have something like that, but man, you got to be way out in the middle of nowhere to have anything like that here.
You do here too. That's where we are.
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with that.
There you go, Joe. I found it.
Yeah, this was about the cheapest place on the West Coast with mountains. Mary Lou didn't want to go east.
Ooh, I like it.
Her plants won't grow there.
I don't know that airplane.
It was very short-lived.
Looks like a pattern, RC pattern plane.
That's what it was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I just come back from
I thought it was a
RC Cup.
twin, but that was a shadow. The other engine really isn't there.
That's a beautiful airplane, Bob.
It was light. It was 720 square inches on 52 ounces.
Oh,
holy smokes. I
With
bet
a
it
foam
flew
wing.
really nice.
With a foam wing.
Wow.
With a foam wing.
Had an OPS 40 with a pipe.
Wow. Those are heavy. Oh, that weight's mostly engine.
Yeah.
I got Philip Granderson had a bunch of those things, and they were really heavy.
Just 12 ounces, aren't they? 12
The
ounces.
OPSs, they ran good though.
You want some?
Hmm?
You want some?
OPSs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran OPSs with Billy and I ran them for a long time.
Yeah. Do you want some?
Do I want some? No, I don't want any. No,
Okay. I still got some in the Granderson estate.
I have no need for them anymore.
I'll take them to Nats and try to fence them.
I could cut them up for tip weight. That'd be about it.
You get a lot of tip weight out of them.
Yeah.
Don't they weigh 12 ounces?
I forgot.
They're
They
big.
weigh about the same as a VF.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were heavy. Maybe even a little
They
more
do?
than VF. They were good engines though.
Fellas, I'm gonna head off to bed.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, appreciate the help
Oh.
on the adjustment there, Rick. Guys.
Good catch, Rick.
Well,
Hope
you know,
it
not a
let us
bad
know how it works
musician,
out
right?
for you.
All right, I'll keep y'all posted.
When are you gonna go fly? When are you gonna go fly that, Paul?
Weather permitting, Dick and I are planning to go out Saturday.
Okay. I won't be around Saturday. I was gonna say, take your cell phone and call me from the field, and I can work you through it.
There you go.
I
Well-
think you gotta bust Dick Carvel's chops for not catching that handle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let him know you pass the information on. So, yeah. All right, fellas.
Be good, guy. What's your estimated time of arrival, Rick, on Sunday here?
Oh, I got a gig Saturday night. It's not too late. You know, it's whenever I drag my fat ass out of bed. So,
Because I'd like to fly some on Sunday afternoon.
well, I'll try and get down there by 1. I mean,
That'd be
sleep is,
perfect.
you know,
That'd be
sleep is
perfect.
overrated, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Sleep is overrated.
I don't care. I don't care if you sleep or not.
Man, you know, the singer in this band I work with now, she's like, "Oh, I can't rehearse past 8 o'clock. I have to get up at 5 for work." I'm like, man, do you know how many times I did a gig, got in at 1 a.m., got up at 4:30 in the morning to make ice cream? Come on, sister.
You're
Overrated.
different today. Different
Like,
breed.
okay, so you're a little tired. Live with it.
Yeah.
Coffee.
But you know, they call it LSD, lead singer disease.
Uh-huh.
Give
They
her a
all
Mountain
come
Dew
to
and an
Donna's,
aspirin.
man.
Tell her to take a Mountain Dew and an aspirin. She'll feel better in a minute.
That's funny.
I'll give her some of your whiskey, Joe.
That tune you right up.
Mean that.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Rick, I'll see you on Sunday afternoon.
We'll see you guys.
I'll give you a hit when I hit the road.
Okay.
When are you getting to Brodax? Monday?
Yeah, we're gonna drive. My plan on leaving here at 4 in the morning, so we can be there by 9, so I can help Tom Huff fly.
And I'm gonna get no sleep.
You can sleep in the car. I'll drive all the way. I don't care. You know.
It's cool.
Profile's
brother.
Monday, isn't it? I think Profile's Monday. I
Yeah,
believe.
he's flying. Tom Huff is flying profile, and he needs moral support. He's flying. His airplane almost killed me the other day. Literally, almost killed me. I went out flying to test fly his airplane. Now he's got a socket to me. Everybody knows what that is, right?
Yeah.
All right, and it's heavy, but it's got a big wing in it, and he's got a 28, 26 something 20. I'm not sure what motor, but it's got vectored thrust like his brother uses. So when the elevator goes up, the motor goes up. When the elevator goes down, the motor goes down, and it actually flies really well. But to balance it, he had no place to put the battery. And he strapped it to the top of the airplane. So it's got this big blivet on the top of the airplane, this big 6S battery up there. So I'm flying this thing, and it's actually flying really good. It transitions like killer with that vectored thrust. It just hits an intersection right on the money, just perfect. So what I didn't plan on is that when the motor shut off, and I'm on the far side of the field, I like to glide around and land by the box. This thing glides like a 48 Packard.
Came to the earth.
And I have these Skechers shoes on, which are really not very stable. And I start running backwards, trying to whip it around. I run out of my shoes. I fell over backwards and I hit my head really hard on the ground. I mean, I had a
Bob.
mild concussion, I think. I was on the ground for several minutes. And, you go to St. Peter at the gates and he says, "How did you die?" I said, "Whipping a socket to me." He says, "You go to hell,"
Do these guys all know about?
Joe.
Do they all? Y'all know about Dr. Tom Huff, the king of rhinoplasty?
Yeah.
No, I don't know anything about that.
6 noses. He's knocked off
Lord.
6 noses off his airplanes without destroying the rest of the airplane.
Oh my goodness.
So
Yeah.
Rick
Oh,
decides to send him a book on.
Yeah, so I went on eBay and I bought a plastic surgeon's manual on
Oh my
rhinoplasty and sent it to him. He's
Now, I'm
the
the one
king
that
of the nose job.
I had to put all the noses back on the airplane. So
Well, technically, I guess I should have sent the book to you.
So what did he send you?
Oh, he sent me some ridiculous stuff. He was trying to improve my stage clothing, which you really can't do.
I thought he sent you a book, Music for Dummies.
Oh yeah, something about music for dummies, and then like a bunch of weird stuff like Elvis sunglasses and jewelry. A
Oh
pretty
my
cool
gosh.
shirt with a cat playing a guitar. I'll wear that.
That's so funny. Oh my
He
goodness.
can't help me in the shoe department. I have an outstanding collection of shoes. I mean, I can't walk the next day after wearing them.
But
Some
you
of the
look good for
boots
2 hours.
Yeah, the boots are beautiful, but they'll put me in a wheelchair before Bob.
I thought I was going to die. I really hit my head hard, and I landed the airplane without damaging it. So,
Priorities.
Yeah,
That movable nose, Rick had that one at Triple Tree, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It was a chipmunk, wasn't it, Rick?
Yeah. Yeah, profile chipmunk.
It was
when you fly one, you will not believe how well they transition. I mean,
right.
You can hit it right on a point, and it'll just
flop over.
Rick coming to Brodak.
Yeah, Rick's coming. Huff is coming.
Good.
Yeah, I want to talk to him about that.
He sent me 2 of those. I think I even got them up here someplace. 2 of those little mechanisms to go on my twin to make like his twin was.
I don't see any downside. What's the downside, Hunt? I don't see one.
Linkage, a little extra weight.
Yeah. We were at, I don't know, some big aviation thing. We were in a big hangar where they had all the STEM people, science, technology, whatever.
Engineering.
We had a bunch of radio guys there, and we had our little, control line table. And one dude is showing Rick his, some ducted fan jet thing with vectored thrust. And, the rest of us all look at it and like, oh, whatever. But one guy, Huff, the light goes on, and now he's got, Jimmy Durante airplanes,
And Dean Pappas told me to do that 40 years ago.
Really?
Yep.
You didn't listen.
But we didn't have electric motors back then.
Well, that's true.
That would have been tough with IC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little magic
I
involved.
wish I was going to Brodak, you guys there.
My gosh.
I'd bring my harps along and sit
I'm
in
going.
Joe, when we get to Brodax, if you're there when after Tom flies it, if the airplane still exists and the nose is still on it, I'll see if he'll let you fly it.
Okay. Is he going to fly advanced profile?
He's flying advanced profile.
I'm going to judge him. He might not let me fly it after I score him.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Joe, are you bringing whiskey?
Yes. Bourbon, I
Lord.
think, actually. But yes.
Wow.
Oh, no. I'll be sleeping on the way home, too.
Just don't drink but one. Oh, it's all good, y'all. Brodax will be a good time. There's so many good people there.
We got to get out of there Tuesday night though, because we got to drive home to my place. He's going to stay overnight, and he has to get home for a gig or something, right?
Yeah, I got a gig Wednesday night. I have a guy to cover it, but if I can do it. I'll take
Man.
the money.
Wednesday nights when they have a cookout. Woo.
You don't want to miss Wednesday night.
We'll get you there.
I'm staying an extra day so I can be there for Wednesday night.
Alas,
That's a cooking night.
Yeah.
I have to sing for my supper.
Swing low, sweet cherry, coming for to carry me home.
See if we have room for guitars in the truck. I'm not sure we will because I got a lot of stuff to bring out. I got for Steve Smith, I got a set of flaps. I got a foam cradle set for Rick Huff for the Caprice. I got a nobler wing that I built for Denny out of Meeson. I got a lot of stuff to bring out.
What, no guitars? What's the point of going?
Yeah, really. Maybe we can fit it in. We'll see.
Tommy
You
Manuel
got to play my new guitar. You haven't seen my new guitar.
No, I haven't. I can't
got
believe you didn't buy the lap
424
steel.
Urban Ash. I'll show it to you. It's right here.
Tommy Manuel was on PBS this evening.
That boy can play.
Ooh, son. I saw him live one time. And I said, if he ever comes near Tulsa again, I'm on the front row. I want to see him spit on stuff. Man, he is something. It's almost magical, Rick. You know.
Yeah, he's a hell of a player.
He is something.
Woo-wee.
Look at that baby. I'd call that Blondie.
It's
Be
Urban
cheap to paint it, you know.
It's a little fatter than my guitar.
That's what they call a plank guitar. Somebody gets mad at you, hit him with it, and they'll leave you alone.
Yeah, that's why country western players play Telecaster. You can slam it right into a drunk's mouth, break all his teeth,
He'll
put it
leave
back
you
on,
alone.
still in tune.
He'll leave you alone. A plank guitar.
You look at a really good Telecaster, it's got teeth
why the
marks in
guys.
it.
I always wondered why the guys, when they tour, they use the like a Telecaster, a solid body guitar. But when you see them in the recording studio, they got a hollow body, and the sound is actually different. But
very different.
Anyway.
I like hollow body guitars for very low volume gigs because an electric guitar reacts with the amplifier. A hollow body guitar will react well at a lower volume without, high volume, it's going to feed back and howl and scream. But I got a real quiet gig coming up in July, and my friends all freaked out about it. I'm like, don't worry about it. I got it, It's no biggie.
Are you going to bring your hammer down, or?
I don't know. I'll bring an acoustic guitar. Otherwise, I got to bring an amp.
Bring
just another
Eastman.
thing.
To bring the Eastman down.
Probably, yeah. Might as well get used to it. That's the one I got to play Wednesday night. I only have to play 3 songs. It's an open mic, and
Well, you only know 2 songs, and you always do one of them first.
Did you ever hear about Albert King's first gig? He said they knew 3 songs, so they played each one of them fast, medium, and slow.
Hey, that worked for a lot of gigs. I mean, who was the guy that sang? Oh, now it's going out of my head. I can see his face. Neil Sedaka sang "Breaking Up Is Hard to Do" in the '60s. He sang it fast. In the '80s, he sang it slow. It was a hit both times.
Yeah, but he thought he was singing it fast.
Well, yeah.
That's
you
cool
can,
how you can
remember it. You weren't there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've got a hat that one of the guys in Project Healing Waters gave me. As if it weren't for flashbacks, I'd have no memory at all.
Oh, I bet you I'm the only guy here that went to Woodstock.
Yeah, you got me beat there.
I was up in Alaska when you went to when.
I'd rather have been in Alaska.
The drummer I worked with was at Watkins Glen, which was the year after Woodstock. 600,000 people.
Oh my gosh!
And he hitched to New York. He hitchhiked from New England, from Boston.
Wow.
Fortunately, he met a friend there, and he got a ride home.
Are we still on YouTube?
Pardon?
Are we still up on YouTube, or are we?
No.
I think we are. I think we are.
We are.
That's supposed to be.
Steve's sleeping.
Did Steve go to sleep?
I think so.
Wake up, Steve.
Hey, Steve. Hi. Are we still on YouTube?
Yeah, I think so.
Ah,
Go to the after party.
Yeah, I don't know how to end the YouTube
Gary
and
does.
continue with this.
Well,
Gary, you
that
know
was,
how to do it.
that was my problem. I didn't want to take it off. I was afraid it'd take me off, and then I couldn't stop it.
Well,
So
I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna take myself off. So
Yeah,
you
got a
It's
bolt.
bedtime anyhow.
I think it's time.
you guys be good.
11:30.
I
Good
think
meeting,
it's
guys.
time.
Good seeing
I gotta
everybody.
get up
Good
in the
night,
morning.
everybody. See
Yeah,
everybody
good
in
night.
Brodak.
Good
A
night.
bunch
Catch
of
you,
you.
kids. See you.